Happy Friday, everybody. This should ideally be the last broadcast here on the Iron Rail Media Podcast channel because this is the backup channel. And as of midnight tonight, we should be strike free over on the main channel. But we've got a really exciting show for you. Specials galore. So stick around. You never know what's going to happen.
Of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of the iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are awake, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
It's Friday.
Okay, everybody, welcome. We got to hurry up and get this show on the road. We got people falling asleep. I know it's damn near 4 a.m. for Nachiqueta out there. Liz, I know it's late for her too. Damn it, we were late getting off. So, of course, she was nodding off. So we just want to jump right in and say hello. We've got Walt should be meandering in here at some point. He had, I don't know. Did you guys ever see Ghost? I think he had a pottery class or something tonight. I don't know. But he should be here as soon as everything wraps up. But we do have Zachary Zabala, Lucas King, Cammy Nodell, and of course, me. But welcome, happy Friday, everybody. It's an absolute honor to be here. This is Have No Sphere, and this is hopefully the final broadcast here on this channel, because we should, like I said, be up and running back to the other one, provided I can get it connected and everything back the way it should be. It's a crapshoot at this point, but let's say hello to everybody, starting off with, how about the Trooper? Just to get it out of the way, just so we can give a little nod and go back to relaxing. Mr. Lucas King, LC King, I know you're not feeling well, but we appreciate you showing up here today anyway.
Hey, sorry. I'm feeling all right. I've just woke up a little bit sort of stuffy and all the rest of it. So, but doing all right. I'm going to chill out. I'll no doubt speak up here and there and put my 2 cents in, keep things flowing.
Well,
can't help myself.
Especially around here. Let's say hello to Mr. Zachary Zabala. You may know him as Good Times for All. Zach, how's your Friday, sir?
Hey, guys. Not too bad. Another beautiful day here in South Kakalaki. Got the fence all ready for the green beans. So it's just laying out there, flattening out. It comes in a roll. So I'm trying to make it so it's, it's easier to handle when it lays out flat for a while. Lay that out all night. And yeah, tomorrow is like planting day. I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, good day. Definitely a good day.
All right, and that brings us to Cammy, Mrs. Cammy Nodell. Cammy, How are you, my dear Aisling717? Although I always forget to mention your channel name, but that's what it is. You may know her from there as well. Cammy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Well, y'all tell me you're doing good. That's the beginning of it. Yes, everybody is doing good and fine. It's getting better from a rough week. I finished this show last week, and Karen and I went to on Saturday, drove down to Athens, Georgia for a rock and mineral show. And it was horrible. They were awful to us. Rock and mineral shows usually are exploding into parking lots outside and into lobbies and lots of friendly people and crystals and everything lovely. And this was downtown Athens, and they had it guarded like a museum, the way they had it in the expo room, and that everything was like cold and frigid, not free flowing. And of course, you had the event center guy there that was making sure that they did not let anybody in without a muzzle. We had kids with us, and I mean, it was so disappointing because we were not going to muzzle up. The rocks don't appreciate it. It sucks so bad. So I whispered in there, called the rocks to cry out and escape, be free. We went to Greenville, and the same thing happened with that store we got into, and then they had us leave. So it was really disappointing. We were like out on an adventure and we were denied. And so I was telling the boys, for the girls in chat, anybody that's seen Pretty Women, and some of our boys have, not all of them, but it was a lot like Julia Roberts when she went shopping on Rodeo Drive and was denied. I mean, it's like, I have the money, I'm all excited, I want something pretty and a crystal or that, and it wasn't meant to be. But instead, we found them in our own backyard, which was better. And in the background, I'm putting together giants. I have to build them first to calm the nerves on that giant Tinker Toys. We're going to see what we can do with these and different figures. But yeah, it's been a busy week and excited about the planning day tomorrow. Lots coming on, going on at all times.
Awesome. I love it.
How was your day, Josh?
Mine was uneventful. Even without your gentle prodding, I still managed to bail out about an hour and a half early from work. So it was too nice.
Planting seeds.
It's gonna be rainy all weekend, like rainy and windy and chilly. But today, it's warm and sunny and beautiful, and I just couldn't not take off early. So early I took off. And I didn't really get a whole lot done. I should be out there cutting my grass. This is where Dixie is a real trooper and really puts up with my shit. Because as a husband and a homeowner, I should be out there cutting my grass. Because it's warm and it's sunny, and I know that it's going to be rainy and cold and windy all weekend, and I won't have a chance to cut it. And it's already a little long. Not bad, but I should be out there cutting it. But I'm not. I'm here. So Dixie went out there and got started on it for me, even though her arm was hurting her a little bit. So I do appreciate her patience. She's willingly allows me to come in here and not try to guilt me to get out there and cut the grass. So much love to a forgiving and understanding wife.
Thank you, Dixie. We love you. We do love you, Dixie. I do.
Yeah, she will never hear this, but that's all right. Still got to put it out there into the ether. Let her feel it some other way. So we had a guest, Terrestrial Mac, TJ, come on 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. And I think there was a mention of him doing cover songs for $5 a pop. Or maybe I saw it on his Facebook or one of his social medias. I thought, man, that'd be really awesome. And what a great way, just to support somebody. They're out there, he's hustling, trying to earn some money. He can cover songs. Why not sell cover songs? Genius. So I bought a couple cover songs. I wasn't quite sure what to do, and I'm going to have to buy some more. It's just, inevitable because as a group, we couldn't really decide on much of anything other than we need to get more songs. So the first one I gave him was one that I have on my playlist on my Pandora, and I hear it. And when I heard it, it was just sort of a hands down, oh, well, that's the one. That's the one we're going to have to give to have him cover. First song, no doubt. It wasn't no doubt. That will no doubt be the first song that I give him. Then I gave him a second one, and that's kind of another secret little surprise that I don't think anybody knows about, but he and I. So that'll be interesting to see or hear his interpretation of that song. So hopefully Terrestrial Mac will be able to pop in. I know he just recently got off work and will be coming
He
on.
says he is lurking and almost ready.
Lurking and almost ready. Awesome. He's got the link. I have got the song queued up. And here's what's interesting. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to share it. I was going to use VLC because VLC is sort of my go-to media player. But of course, OBS doesn't want to just grab VLC. There's a specific setting in OBS to set up for VLCs. So I tried that, and guess what? The sound wouldn't go through. I thought, well, that's strange. It just wouldn't play the sound. So I thought, well, I think Windows comes with like a player or something. So I tried it, and same problem. I thought, all right, well, time's getting close, but I'm just going to have to upload it to YouTube and play it off of YouTube, and I'll just grab the browser window like I do with pretty much everything else. So it's uploading and it's processing, and I see time getting away from me, and I'm sure Liz is nodding off, and finally get it uploaded, load it up into OBS, window capture, great. Oh, the only window that is grayed out that I cannot choose is the window specifically for this song, which I thought was really interesting. So that's the third way that I tried to make sure that I could present this evening, and I was not allowed. So finally, I'm just going to do a display capture, just grab my whole screen, my screen grab, and just grab the whole effing thing. And I think it's going to work. I think I tested it. I think it'll be good. So as soon as Terrestrial Mac gets in here, we will cue that up because I've not even watched the whole thing. I got about 30 seconds in and stopped and said, I don't want to watch this whole thing now. But I wanted to share some of it. So there's like in the last minute, the last 45 seconds or so, I edited and clipped out and shared to a couple Iron Scout groups and a couple places here on Telegram. So, yeah, there's just that nice little tidbit there at the end. But as soon as he gets here, we will share that. But there might even be someone else joining us, if I heard Lucas correctly. Is that right, Lucas?
Yeah, that's right. Pat said he was going to drop in, but he's a bit busy right at this minute, so hopefully he'll turn up a bit later in the show.
And he's got a kid. He's got a baby
from Pat Life. Yeah. He's got a baby. Yeah, he's got a client for doing his training or whatever it is. But so he's going to drop in, and that'll be good to have a chat with him because last time you guys didn't really get to. He didn't really stay around for that long, did he?
No, and actually, I think it was the exact same time that Terrestrial Mac was on before because we were all talking guitars, and it turns out that Pat plays guitar as well. So, yeah, hopefully Pat will turn up, and Walt will turn up, and TJ will turn up, and we'll just rock out with our male chickens out.
Cammy, you can use Bob's.
That's right. You can use Bob. Speaking of which, you may have not noticed, but Cammy's got real nice set decorations back there. Up there looking pretty. There's Bob. If you look closely, he's back there.
Just chilling on the couch.
Just chilling on the couch. All right. Well,
so before we get into that, can we cover just a little tiny piece of space lettuce?
Would you please? Because I know you were trying to get into this morning.
It's just eating away at me. Just these leftist commies trying to push race debating in physics now, people. Oh, let me go look at the article. Oh, it's probably not there anymore. What does it say? Black physicist discusses the dark in dark matter. Okay, nowhere in this article, I don't have the article, so I can't really read it to you, but nowhere in the article does she mention dark matter being anything in relation with black people or anything like that at all. Nothing. It's an article about string theory and their theory about blah 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 blah. Einsteinian whatever. It has nothing to do with the fact that she is a black woman at all in the article. But the article heading, it's which is all people ever read anyway. Yeah, it's just been eating away at me. This whole let's divide and conquer, and it's so blatant now. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the news is a poison at this stage, isn't it? It's just ridiculous, and it's seeped into every crevice.
Yeah, this is like physics today or something like that. They're not supposed to be pushing political agendas or feelings police about anything. This is supposed to be about physics. And yeah, I saw that and I was just like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
Yeah, science.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's just, and the article had nothing to do with the fact that she was black. Shouldn't even have been brought up. Shouldn't have been in the heading at all. It wasn't mentioned in the article at all. Except at the beginning, I believe they said an African-American physicist named blah, blah, blah from blah, 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 blah. And that was like it about the fact that she was black. She wasn't, protesting for Black Lives Matter movement or anything like that. It had nothing to do with the article at all. But of course, the headline
doesn't even need that in there. It doesn't really need to explain, It's like if I wrote a science article, it doesn't need to say some white guy from Australia.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just got to say my name and, what degree or whatever I've done, and this is the actual science I've done. It's ridiculous.
No, you don't badmouth science in this place. Fuck that shit. Science, it's real, bitches.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets!
Yes, science.
Give me a goat. I just wanted to hear Lucas laugh.
Oh, that's funny, isn't it? Yeah, that one's good about the magnets too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that was the space lettuce. I couldn't believe that. I mean, I can, but it's crazy. It's like we're living in, communist United States now. And I know we don't talk about politics much, but communism has been tried so many times. I mean, you can call it socialism, you can call it whatever you want. It's communism, and it does not work. It looks great on paper. It's easy to get people to go along with the idea of it, but it doesn't work when you throw human beings into the mix and have them controlling it. It just doesn't work. Never has, definitely isn't going to work with the way society is today. It requires an informed and, somewhat intelligent, thinking logically public for that to work. And we don't have that. That's just not going to happen.
Stupid human propaganda.
I like that.
Well, it's just a matter of, everything's a bit too top heavy, isn't it? When you look at the monetary system or the political system or whatever system we're looking at, corporate, it's all top heavy. There's too much of that, and not enough, just general people. Yeah. They retain too much of the sway of nearly everything now, and you can just see it blatantly. It's crazy how in your face it is. So
yeah, I just saw some news thing. Someone had on one of their videos that 1% of the population equals the wealth. The top 1% equals the same amount of wealth as 3.5 billion of the lowest, wealthy people on Earth.
Yeah. It's just
That's
gross.
just insane.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's such a disparity between that. It's just, and that's what I mean. That's what I'm sort of getting at with the top heaviness of it.
Yeah.
It's when you have such an inequality in, the haves and haves not. This is where you really get a societal breakdown, and that's exactly what we're seeing in a sense. In some ways, you can see that there's a portion of us that are trying to move up and getting back our foothold in our minds and gaining some strength, because as a sort of kickback to this stuff. But then for the most of the population, I don't think it's that case at all. So,
well, it would appear that we have been joined. I see you're joined by Terrestrial Mac. TJ, welcome back to Have No Sphere. It's an honor to have you, boy. I'm excited about this. I think this is
TJ
going to be really good.
What's up, you guys? It's an honor to be back.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Honor.
I think I'm here finally.
Yeah, you sound good.
Hi, TJ. I didn't meet you last time you were on the show. So, yep, I'm Lucas.
Yeah,
nice
it's awesome to meet you, man. Great to join a platform with you. I've heard you talk a lot, so you've probably not heard me talk a lot.
Another musician.
Yep.
Yeah. Lucas,
you guys should get along great.
Need to get your music out there. I saw Liz asking earlier where she could find your stuff. And there's just not that many places specifically for your music. Oh, well, look at this.
Well, I've got I've got enough for over an album's worth of music, but I just haven't done the vocal side of things. Like I said, I've had a bit of a problem with the ear thing, and also tried to get some other guys to join in and see if they could do vocals over the top of it. But it's been a bit unsuccessful at the moment. So hopefully down the track I want to release a finished product is what I'm sort of getting at, rather than half done songs, even though I use them for my videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're joined by somebody else too. I'm pretty sure he was just sitting there behind the microphone, tapping his fingers, waiting. Pretty soon they're going to start talking guitars. I know they're going to start talking music soon. Oh, okay. I think that's it. That's my cue. All right, here I come. All right, now he's here. Welcome, Walter Johnson. You might know him as Flat Earth Head. Walt, happy Friday, sir. And I know you were getting all Patrick Swayze earlier. Is that what I understand?
'Cause time goes by. Nice.
Very
a gargoyle. Nice. Have you said anything yet, Walt? Because I'm not hearing you if you have.
No.
He's on mute, and I went for somebody to let him know. He's been talking up a storm, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, he's not muted.
You sure, Walt?
Yeah.
No, I just saw him jump in and out of the mute. Yeah. No, we can't hear you, brother. I don't know what's going on.
Nothing.
Yeah. Did that little stinker play with your chords or something?
Or was somebody out jamming earlier before he went to pottery class?
New kitty in town.
There he is. I hear the
That
fan
it?
blowing.
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
I don't know what I did. Yeah. So, yeah, this is my first attempt at a gargoyle.
That's very good.
It turned out a lot shinier than I thought it would have. She said if we'd had more time, we could have done some type of paint that has crystals in it that would have exploded and crackled. But that would have been like a double process, 2 or 3 more hours there. And I was like, yeah, I got stuff. Let's do that and go. So he'll be here watching the show with us.
Yeah, it's hard to
Carl
get the
Gary.
color right. When you're glazing, it's hard to get that color like the color you think it's going to turn out.
Mm-hmm. And she told
'Cause I
me, you
did-
should do this and you should do, she helped me. So it could have been a lot worse because I would have done it totally underwhelmingly less colorful than I did. So yeah, it would have been just a black statue when I got through. What's up, TJ? I see you in the house.
Yeah, he's here. I thought maybe the cops were coming and he was trying to make his escape out the window.
You went through the window. What's up, brother? Waltz
going
your
on,
run.
Walt? Good to see you, man. I was trying to make it so it wasn't so bright, but I wasn't going to sit here and fight with the blind. You know what I mean?
I may have left. Oh, I did. I left the overhead light on when I ran in. I literally ran in, grabbed tea, and sat down. So here I am, probably sweating. But yeah, I had a blast. I've got pictures here somewhere of the. I don't even have my phone. Well, when I get my phone back in hand, I'll show y'all some of the stuff the grandbabies did. Michelle's contribution. She had a little dish she made. It's in there somewhere. So I'll show y'all pictures as the show progresses when I get them back in there.
And this may just
Turn my phone.
end up being a
sorry.
repeat of the last time TJ was on because Pat may wander in at some point this evening too.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, it may just be
Sweet.
another wonderful musical show. And that's something I want to try to do is get at least one musical show a month. And I've got somebody lined up for not next Friday, but the Friday after that I think is going to be really good. So yeah,
Interesting.
it's good stuff.
I like
Good
that.
stuff.
I like it.
I have somebody I want to line up for that too. That's a great idea.
Perfect.
Do you guys know Mr. Crumb at all? You should go to Mr. Crumb. Mr.
Crumb is awesome.
Crumb is awesome. All
New
right.
to me. I have to go check it out.
Check it
I
out.
got to meet him at Solar Return.
So much fun. So talented. But yeah, I'd love the idea. But every Friday should be a music Friday, actually.
Yeah, well, I can jump on the drum kit if you like and bang out a few beats.
Where's my guitar?
I would like that. I would like that a lot.
Now, see, I'm totally down with it. If we think we can do it, I'm down for devoting.
Dude, if there was a way
20,
for us
30
to sync
minutes
that
a
shit
week.
up, we'd be jamming every Friday. It'd never stop. We can't even sing along to a karaoke video, though. We've determined that the latency.
Yeah, the
will
delay.
happen. Where is
that-
this light?
And it's just like a half second. It's not like it's,
Just enough
astronaut.
to be off. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. You're not controlling a RC car on Mars or anything, right?
It's enough to
Just
be-
throw
make
everything
it-
off.
Yeah, you can't play basically if you're trying to listen to yourself with a half a second delay. You can't be on time. Does something to your brain, just throws it out.
Oh, look, even awesome Austin in chat is premiering a never before heard truth song tonight on his show at 10 p.m.
Nice.
And I know
I will catch it tomorrow, most likely, Austin. I apologize, but
I know
it's been a long day. Haven't taken a nap, and yeah, that's late for me. 10 p.m. You're a party animal.
there's a link.
God, I'm old.
I do believe that's the link to Awesome Austin's channel.
Don't want to hear it.
Well, there's a song I really want to hear.
Shall we do it?
Wait,
Can
let me
we?
meet up because I know
Yes.
I'm blaring a fan. I'm trying to say hey to folks in chat. I finally got there.
Yeah, if anybody out there, if you love a song and you'd like to hear just somebody cool cover it, Terrestrial Mac, right here. Go check him out. His channel will be in the description. You can go in there and find all the information. $5 a song, just $5.
And look, once you see this, you're gonna be like, dude, $5, what a fucking bargain. I'll take 10.
I was even gonna say too. I mentioned like Jaronism was talking about. He writes parodies a lot, and I know people come up with stuff like that. I don't want to make any promises, but if you got any ideas, shoot them over.
Ooh.
I can try it. And you said about the video too. Anything I know about making videos, I made up on my own. But if anyone likes that or thinks that how I edit videos is something they'd be interested in, try that too, because I'm trying to use the skills I have,
Well, the little bit that I got to see, I thought you did a really good job. I thought, because again, I saw the way that the song was arranged a little bit. I saw some of the early stuff. So I sort of had this basic idea. And then when I see this finished product, it's really, really good. But look, I could talk this up all night long. It's going to be better to let everybody else do it too. So I'm not here tooting your horn, so to speak. That just got weird. All right, let's do this. Oh, if it's going to let me. All right. It just doesn't want to do it. It's all right. Can't stop me, dang it. Here we go.
Sun's coming out today. Staying in, it's gonna find another way. Yeah. As I sit here in this misery, I don't think I'll ever know. See the sun for me. Oh, as I fade away. Oh, look at me and say, and they'll say, hey, look at him, I'll never live that way, and that's okay, I'm just afraid to change. When you feel life ain't worth living, you got to stand up and take a look around, gotta look up way into the sky. When your deepest thoughts are broken, keep on dreaming, boy, 'cause when you stop dreaming, it's time to die. And as we all play parts of tomorrow, oh, no, some ways will work and other ways will play. But I know we cannot stay here forever, so I'm gonna ride my words on the face of today and paint it up. Oh, as I fade away, they'll all look at me and say, they'll say, hey, look at him, and where he is these days, and that's okay, just afraid to change. Life is hard, you have to change. Life is hard, you have to.
Fuck yeah, brother. I don't have my
Awesome.
balls,
That
but
was awesome,
I don't
dude.
have
Nice.
Yeah.
fucking A.
Thank you.
That is just amazing how you can sit there and jam with yourself like that. That is just so cool.
I did I did most of it in one day. Like
Bob,
I've been thinking about it a while, but
get there.
so that was easier to do sooner because I was familiar with that song already, kind of.
Yeah, the one I'm going to have you do, I don't know. You've probably heard it, but the words are going to be the ode to Billy Joe. And she threw him in the muddy water off the Tallahatchie Bridge.
Oh, yeah. I know that
boom,
song.
boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah. It's going to sound badass when you're jamming that on your guitar.
Nice. Hey, Zach, do you know the meaning on that song or no? Because there's a
you told
movie
me.
and a whole, yeah, okay. Whole movie behind this song. I just walked into Zachland.
I do remember vaguely having seen that movie once upon a time because my mom was excited that it was on television.
Right, it was a book and a movie. And in a nutshell, I suppose we should tell the people that don't, but it was out. This was in the early 70s, I think, or mid 70s when it came out. And Billy Joe McAllister and the girl who was singing the song on that were like young, falling in love type of things. And they went to a dance and they got really drunk. And he wound up waking up with not her, but with a guy. And it freaked him out so bad that he killed himself. And when he killed himself, everybody just thought that she was pregnant. And instead of saying what really happened, what she did is said she left town for a few months saying that people will talk about what they want and they'll just think I gave the baby away and life will go on. It'll be okay. But she covered for him and said that, I just, do it that way. So that was what the story was about, and hearing Ode to Billy Joe. Back in the 70s, the songs or the movies that made the young girls cry. Okay, people, that was way more than you wanted to hear somebody else.
I can't stop my computer.
Can't stop myself.
So that's Zach's contribution. Walt, I know you were trying to put some real serious thought into yours. Have you come up with anything? No.
No, not at the moment, sir. I'm still running and trying to settle in and saying hey to everybody in chat. But I definitely, after hearing that, have an idea of where I can go for damn sure. Oh, see, he's already got a cover. He beat me to the punch.
Just that one though.
Is that the one? All right, we're gonna work. We're gonna work. I might even get in there and do some harmonies with you, sir.
I won't say the other one you mentioned, but I've been dabbling in that one too. Another thing with Change was that I had to change the key of the song because it's way too high for me. So that took me some time. And once I got that figured out, it was pretty easy to knock it out.
I can't decide if I want to keep it a secret or if I want to discuss it because I'm real curious.
Well, I think you should tell us.
I think I should.
We'll keep it a secret.
Well, because I think we all
won't tell anyone.
We all know the song. So it's the interpretation that I think is really going to be the key. So I think the only really good way to build enough suspense on this interpretation is to just let it fester in your mind a little bit and just think of Terrestrial Max version, his cover of Gravity by Cheyenne.
Oh, fuck.
Don't hype it too much, man.
It came to me.
That's what's up.
What was it? The Smith said in Hook, lightning struck my brain. He just had an apostrophe.
You go with your apostrophes.
It was, I'm like, ooh, it's got to be Gravity. Why not see what he can do with Gravity? And you said Change was way out of your register. I'm like, now I'm really interested to hear how it is you've arranged Gravity to pull it down a little bit.
I've just been playing with it on my baritone uke, but I've been kind of finger picking the vocal melody. So I really still don't know quite where I'm going with it, but that's something.
That's awesome. Nope, I'm just super excited to hear what you come up with. You're not going to screw it up, which is what I love about it. So it's great. There's nothing you can do. I'm pretty sure I'm going to dig it regardless.
Yeah, and it's cool too. Since like I was on before, I had another person, like a Facebook friend bomb mutual person, who got a hold of me about 4 more songs. So I only have 2 of those like known at the moment also, but so I got stuff to work on. And like I was saying the other day, I don't mind that because I know I can do that stuff. Like music is a thing that I can do. So I'm stoked to actually be able to work on something that I know people are waiting for.
Yeah.
And now, out of all the songs that you've done, which one do you think turned out the very, very best, that you like your version almost better than the artist itself? Do you have one of those where you like nailed it? You felt like you just completely...
I think I do, and I can't think of any of them off the top of my head though. But there's some stuff that I've been playing it myself so long that when I hear the original version, I'm like, I'm almost like, what's going on here? Because I'm used to how I do it, and you don't even realize how much you change stuff. It's kind of subconscious. But yeah, I'll have to think about it and look through some stuff here.
Well, I like it that you don't have that. You feel like you get into all of the songs and you connect with them that way. So that's actually even more fun. Do you have an artist that you like?
I'm a huge Beck fan. I've always been really into Beck, and Jack White was another. I like him for just kind of doing both of them. They just sort of do whatever they want, I feel like. And that's something that I like. I like taking songs whatever direction. Like Jack White covers a lot of old blues songs, but they're way, they're like garage rock. They're way blown out and different. I like that. I think
love when a band owns a cover tune, dude. If you're just going to do it like it came off the record you heard before, what's the point? I can listen to that 100 times, But
some of them, like when Aerosmith did Come Together, I thought that was just horrible. That was atrocious. But now, like when Jimmy did All Along the Watchtower, I thought that was awesome. So yeah, it depends on who it is and how they do it.
I vote Sarah.
Jimmy's cover of Rolling Stone is amazing as well. Sorry, Cammy, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, that was...
I started.
Well, we're echoing because I'm right next to Zach, but Sarah Bareilles did a really nice Rocket Man. A really good Rocket Man. Oh, Yellow Brick Road. Oh, you're right. It was Yellow Brick Road. Never mind.
Yeah, that was the first time I had actually listened to the words of that song. I was like, that song is awesome. I used to really not. It was an okay song, but I never knew the words. Took the time to learn the words. And when you hear the words, it's like, dude, that's great. I love that. It's all about, you can't buy me with your, fancy things and this and that. I'm going to go, my life isn't on that path. I'm going down this path.
We were talking at the house, the prescience in music and how the lyrics are written throughout time. The paths are drawn in. And so pay attention when you hear songs about the Yellow Brick Road or movies about the Yellow Brick Road or any songs about the path you're on. There's still time to change the path you're on. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is, again, that Yellow Brick Road. Buying the Stairway to Heaven is that Yellow Brick Road. They put it out in songs, and it's through history. I don't know if they're aware that they're doing it or if it's in their dreams. Just, again, people dream things and coming through, but both paths are in there. Sometimes I think that depending on what mood the person it is when they're dreaming is what they're bringing forth, what path they're bringing forth, but the paths are there in the songs. And Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is a good one. It's about making a choice and choosing not material, but choosing the land and the people and love. And it's written, again, in all of the songs, and that's one of the best ones I've heard on it. And again, Sarah Bareilles does a beautiful job where she makes you tingle when she sings it. So that's just a bonus. I love music.
I did think of
So
one.
how do you go about recording stuff?
So for years, I've just been doing stuff on my phone, which seems kind of obnoxious, but and then like I recently got, I don't know, maybe in the last year or so, I got this mic. So now I'm doing stuff different, and I finally have stuff to run for like my electric stuff and my looping. I can run my amp straight into my computer, which is new. I was micing my amp before, and of course that was a whole new bunch of nonsense to figure out. But yeah, so like when I did that, I mean, you can see in the video, I recorded, I did like vocals in the one guitar once, and then I did I capoed up and yeah, and then did, you know, but I like some of the stuff I have to play with miking and things like that. It's not something I know a whole lot about, you know, mic positioning and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hard to get depending on the room. It's really about the room, and most of it when you're trying to record, well, especially for me, it's mainly about, you know, having a dry signal, and I usually DI everything, so direct input everything, and then use a program to actually add reverb or do all the EQs and you can add amp simulators and things like that, and they're pretty good these days. They used to be pretty rubbish, and they don't have a decent sound, but now they're getting to the point where, you know, even the pedals have amp simulators in them. So it's like you're not even so you can DI a pedal or something like that into it. So they've definitely come a long way in the way they actually you got an orange. Yeah,
this is my electric amp. Yeah, it's a little 5-watt hybrid tube and solid state. But this thing cranks. Like I run it through a 212.
I've read up on those, man. I've looked into them. Yeah.
And like I just use the headphone out. It's the same signal, just with no cab simulator, and I just run that straight into my computer because I use a ton of pedals anyway. So most of my tone is coming from there rather than the amp.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. That's pretty much how I do it. I actually have just a little distortion pedal, so I just add a little bit of gain to my acoustic and have a cover over the whole of the acoustic, so it's more like an electric. And then I run into a audio interface and then go as that's a direct line into the program and do the recording that way.
So between you, Lucas, and between you, TJ, I've got to find somewhere in that middle ground because I want to feel it and hear it, and I've got my pedals set and my amp set like I want to sound and like I feel it when I hit those power chords. But I also get what Lucas is talking about with the cleanness and getting it directly into the computer that way and being something pure to work from. I just don't understand how to get the feeling I want doing it the way Lucas is doing it. So you've apparently figured out how to get that feeling into the amp without it being the program doing it. And I want it to be rawer than the program makes it, I guess. I don't know even how to explain what I'm trying to explain. But when I try to do it over the years of just direct into my computer, it doesn't have that oomph. And yet when Lucas does it, he does put that oomph in it. And I don't get it. I can't make it happen. I just don't. Me and the computer don't speak the same language.
I don't even know anything about audio interfaces or any stuff like that, really. Like when I do that in my video editor, it just gives me because I add in the different clips and it lets me mess with the audio in there. And like, I'll do that through headphones. I'll try it a couple of different ways. I played it through my radio to see how it sounded. I played it in the car, because that's what I know about audio mixing.
That sounds like me with
make
like
it
3
sound
cassette
good.
players back in the day and bouncing tracks with my 3 cassette, a boombox, and the 2 recorders over here. Yep, that was how I used to do stuff, rough and dirty.
Whatever gets it done.
That's how we do this show.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Rough and dirty, however it gets it done. What were you saying, Lucas?
I can. Yeah, well, these programs are pretty amazing now. It's like a whole studio that something that would have been worth, say, back in the 80s or 90s would have been like $100,000 studio is now just basically a $500 program on your computer. It's pretty amazing, like the amount of the stuff you can do. Like even in those old studios, they would have had racks for, say, one to add reverb, one to add sort of chorus and all these different effects, and even like compressors and different types of compressors with different sounds and things like that. And each one of them would probably be worth, $1,000, $2,000. And all of a sudden you can put it in a single program on your computer and not only have, one rack, but you can have multiples and stack it up. So the amount you can do is just stunning. I'm blown away by it, but it's a whole learning curve in itself to learn it. But yeah,
I feel the same way as you said about too. I don't like to put out like an unpolished thing, but at some point I also will just indefinitely put things off because I know that's how I am. So like I have to,
there's a point where there's definitely a point where you have to say, well, this is good enough. And I get to that. I realize that I'm working with, you have the good program and that, but you may not have an actual studio to sit the drum kit in to get a perfect drum sound and all that sort of stuff. So you're limited by some of those extra resources. But there is a point where you say, well, is it listenable? Does it play well in a car? Does it play well on a phone? And that's good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Twice now, I've put your tune on with two different buddies of mine, and they both went, "Is that off the new Tool album?" So, dude, you've got that fucking like sound, the production, the quality of the sound doesn't sound like something dry or emotionless or whatever. I feel when I'm putting stuff into the computer, I feel like I lose that. But you somehow take it from that plainness and make it feel like what comes out of my amp. So again, between you and me and TJ, we got to figure out how to make this happen. I just don't.
Oh yeah, well, I'm all for working on songs and stuff. It's I love doing it. Of course,
I've broken. I'm not broken, but apparently I've done something with this new Morley pedal that even Sweetwater can't figure out. They've actually had to contact Morley and get back with me. So I give up at this point. I'm just going back to my old cab modeler amp and cheat that way. It gives me the sound I want quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with streaming, like when I first started that, I had no idea how to do it or what I was doing. So I was just like, I like to make, especially when I'm doing looping, make it all trippy and weird or do what I can do. So I would like make a private live stream from my phone on Facebook and then go in OBS and pick that up as the source and restream that out from all my pages. And like, I was doing all kinds of stuff I was surprised at how many compliments I got at how good this stuff looked for me not knowing what the hell I was doing and just wanting to make it look interesting. Cause I just wanted it to not look like other people's streams and stuff.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Now, one of my favorite artists is a German drummer named Sina, Sina. And something she does is and a Sina fan.
What? How in the world do you know? That's awesome, man. She's amazing.
She's amazing. And one of the things she does is she collaborates with artists all over the world and puts things together and puts out the videos with the covers with things all together. She's been my favorite for years, Walt. I mean, Jade, all of her stuff, I've been following her probably again since she was probably like 5 or 6 years now, for a long time at least, maybe even longer. But I like it that she collaborates with people all over and they put out the songs. So are they each playing a track and are they layering it? But they seem to play together and sing together so well. And they're in different parts of the country. I mean,
I'm pretty sure all of those things are being sent back and forth assembled and put on YouTube. There's a thing called
Yeah.
2 Minutes to Midnight or 2 something, and they all do these metal covers of great songs I love, but they're all over the place. These guys are all over the country in different rooms, and the precision of some of these metal songs they're covering, there's no way to do it with any kind of the delay we're talking about. They're definitely
Right. That's same with
tracks around
Cena.
and-
I mean, they've got it completely perfect on so many of the songs.
There's a channel too called Songs Around the World where they do like, it'll be some sort of like major known song that has like a good message and stuff, but they do that. They have artists, they'll have like a street artist in this place and it syncs up with like some dude in India playing some instrument I don't know. Then they put together these crazy songs. I gotta find some of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally unmuted at the wrong time. My apologies. I'll send you another drummer. Just a minute. I've got to find her because her name is slipping my mind. It's been too many months back, but I will find it and send it over there to you. And I'll share it with you guys too. But yeah, if you dig Cena, you'll dig her too. Hang on one second.
Now,
Yeah, well,
Bob's a
that
fan
basically.
of, Sophie. Sophie. What's Sophie's last name? The guitarist that you love, Sophie. Sophie Lloyd. Look up Sophie Lloyd for a guitarist. And yeah, Lloyd. She's not only an incredible guitarist, but Bob will tell you she's incredible.
She's hot, and I'm already subscribed.
Well,
I'm already
it's like
subscribed.
already subscribed. Walt says.
Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah, well, I can show you how they do it. Put the separate tracks together if you like. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm
down for learning anything about this stuff.
I'm gonna need to share.
Before you
screen
go,
with Josh.
Anika Niles is her name. Cammy, do you know her? I finally found her. She does a lot of her own stuff, like where like most of it's like you'll see some that are covered, but most of her stuff's original. Here, let me find one to send to you. All right, Lucas. Sorry, go ahead. I was just excited.
No, that's all right. Josh is gonna allow me to share screen it.
Oh, that's right. I don't want to give anybody power. Let me get back. Where am I? The power is yours.
Yeah, so this is basically like what they use. There's lots of different versions of this, and it doesn't necessarily need to be as complicated as this one, but this is for a song, so each of these like little tabs here is a is a track. So one will be a guitar track, a bass track, and then you can just layer them up, and it's basically you can edit them and go in, zoom in as far as you want, have a look at the tracks, sound files.
It's like doing a video, except for instead of something being your audio and your video and your things on there, you're just layering the different audio tracks on top of each other. I get it.
Yeah, so that's how I create things. So I'll have multiple guitar tracks, and even if it's I've played it once, I can put it so it's stereo, and basically spread it out to each side of the track, and then put a little bit of delay between two guitars so it sounds really fat. You can do a few little tricks and things that get your guitar nice, and then you come into the actual mix part of things, and then you'll have all your different tracks down here, and this is like a full studio. So in each of these you can add EQs, gates, compressors. This is some of the amps. So with this, you can pick different amps that you want to use for your guitars, different cabinets you want to use.
What happens differently between digital and analog music in the way it's processed?
Well, it's basically the signal is for digital, it's ones and zeros, and with analog, it doesn't obviously it doesn't have those ones and zeros. It's different.
Does it get normalized, or does it the quality of it? I mean, does it seem to change it a lot?
Yeah,
Or
well, for people that enjoy that analog sort of sound, yeah, I think it has a warmer sound to it, but mainly that's due to the tubes that they use and things like that. So, but you can get sort of different sort of end programs that will change it to a more analog feel, but you're still never going to get away from the digital. You're working in the digital world, but there is a clarity that you get with digital as well. But you can, when it gets compressed and things, you'll get these piercing highs and things, especially the cymbals. If you listen to a low quality MP3 or something, you'll get the cymbals and stuff of the drums will sound really horrible. But in here, you can pick all your different pedals for your guitars, bass amps, all that sort of stuff. So you can add in, usually when I'm creating a track, I'll add in something like a one of these things, which is basically a pad, and you can create MIDI, which MIDI is basically being able to create like a drum beat or add in drum beats. I think I got one here. So you can see on this, you can actually add the different kick drums and snare and all that sort of stuff. So you can give yourself a basis to actually play along with a drum kit, even if it's just a fake one. And then I add the drums in later. So that's how you get your sort of timing right as well. So that's about it. Yeah.
I have this one video. I'll find it quick. I'll put it in the chat. But I had some, just like a 4-track recorder on one of my phones, and I did that. It's all acoustic guitar, but I was able to add like phasers and stuff, and then like the solo part, all kinds of reverb. I had to find it. It's ridiculous. Like it doesn't sound like I recorded it the way I did.
It sounds better. Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a basic program that people can get hold of if they're interested in starting to do their own music and things like that as well. Or they can
What is that one?
This one's called Studio One.
Okay.
So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. So if those guys are recording in different places, what you can do is just create a new track, and then say they've recorded it in wherever, anywhere over the world, you bring that track in, and then you can line it up with the rest of the recordings, and so they can get the timing perfectly, and there's no worrying about the latency and things like that. And this is how you can actually work with people from overseas as well. Basically, they can do a recording, and you can import that recording somewhere from, they send it to you as a file, and then you can import that recording and add it over the top. As long as they're in time when they're playing, you can mesh it up really easily. So
you say this, hopefully. But I do want to say that Alex Flutter, conspiracy guru guy, wanted to do a mashup in a song with like Bob and Dave Weiss and Jaron and Austin and like all the Globebusters, and that is going to work on it. And every time anybody, especially Dave, would send in a file, he's like, no, you got to listen to the beat. You got to speak with the time. And Dave's like, you can adjust that all afterwards. And Alex is like, you're an asshole. I'm not adjusting it. Talk and beat. The song never got made because our people couldn't. I don't think that we could like rap or talk and beat enough to pull it off. I don't know. Maybe it's still a process, but it was hysterical reading the chat back and forth on it.
That's one of the hardest things to actually learn to do as a musician, I think, is getting your timing really, really tight. And you'd know that, Mac, from playing with loop pedals and things. If you don't get it exact, you're just going to create a wall of noise, and it's going to sound horrible and real quick. So
I had a looper that had a weird latency in when you hit the switch and when you started your loop and ended it, and it was so I couldn't get my head around it. I just had to sell it because it's like that the time, and plus like the one I have now, I have a guitar pedal that's basically a drum machine that you can trigger with your guitar, but that has I have a cord that syncs that to my looper, so the loops always stay in time with the beat.
Yeah, I've got one of those Bose or Boss loop pedals, loop stations, and it's got 3 tracks on it. So I was doing stuff like, have you ever heard of Dub Effects? He's an Australian guy, but he sort of blew up pretty big. And he would basically go as a street artist. He'd go out into the street, and all he'd have was a single loop pedal, and then he'd start with do sort of the beatboxing, and then he'd start using a few different guitar pedals, say delays and things on his voice, and then create a whole song just of him layering up sort of his voice and beats and stuff. It was pretty amazing what he was doing.
Have you seen that guy that's out in the world and he uses environmental sounds doing that? Like he's just beating on a railing at a bus stop, or the glass on a window, or somebody's bicycle rim, and he's putting all that in a looper as he walks around the streets. I can't remember his name. I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
People are so clever.
There's a guy named like Peter Valek or something. He might be Russian. But he makes like weird contraptions that make music, but he does that too. Records weird industrial sounds and just makes like beats out of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that like I have stuff to like drop my guitar down an octave or do all kinds of crap like that, and do like clarinet sounds, flute sounds, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I do like 2-3 hour long streams where I just I'll make a drum beat and then slowly add parts to it, and sometimes they're focused and sometimes they just get weird. Like I think it's a good exercise in musicianship to like try to go outside of what seems like it should be the right thing to do or play, and just kind of like stack weird harmonies and noises till like it's weird, like something always comes out of it. It's I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Like I noticed when I was trying to do looping and stuff as well, that you would actually, if you do certain guitar riffs and things over the top of it, there's certain frequencies that pop out, and you could never replicate it in a, like doing the studio sort of thing, and you'd play it again, you'd never get it. And there's just these certain pulsing frequencies that you can get to pop out, and it just sounds amazing, but trying to replicate that's so difficult.
So you're giving me a little bit of hope on something gained. I ordered today a digital microscope to do some different things and display on camera. And it's hard because I've always had a microscope for years. And the one thing that has not gone down in price are analog microscopes. All the ones I like are over $5,000. It breaks my heart because I didn't know how spoiled I was when it's a piece of office equipment. But I would love to have that now. I couldn't afford the analog one, so now it's going to be looking at something digital. And part of me was like heartbroken because it'll be looking at it, and I'll be looking at a screen and not looking at it, and I don't know what's going to be lost. And I understood that like the difference between well under $100 and over $5,000 for what I'm doing was much more appropriate. And the ones that you could for $50 look into for a microscope and analog one were in the toy sections for ages 3 to 6, or 3 to 8. But yeah, I wish the analog stuff went down like the digital one, but maybe I'll pick up more that I didn't see before.
Have you ever done any like busking and stuff, Mac?
No, not really. There was a time where I was sort of running this open mic at a place, and through doing that, I met with this like they were kind of a gypsy bluegrass sort of. They were kind of weird. They were cool though, and a couple of times I hung out with them and we went to places and then we played on the street a little bit. But other than that, I have a pretty limited experience doing that. It's not I don't even know what the legalities of it are around here either, honestly. Which, I mean, who cares? But
Yeah.
You can do it as long as you wear a muzzle.
Right.
yeah, probably. I'm
Was
moving
that,
out into
would've
the
been-
woods.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to record some videos out there.
I see you've been shooting some stuff out there, getting some field recordings of streams and all kinds of good video shots.
Yeah, and I had some stuff. I think I can pull it off my phone here, but there's some old. My roommate, he grew up like all around this area, so he knows all this stuff. But there's old like iron furnaces and stuff back there in the woods,
So
and there's just cool old
I'm
stone
thinking
infrastructure.
either, which I had it in my mind before someone in chat said it earlier, but then someone in chat said it, and I thought that would actually be a great song. So I'm thinking Hotel California or Wonder Boy. Either one of those two. Either one of those two. But I want to narrow it down. I'm still working it over.
Not the hokey pokey.
I have to make note of those. I'm going to do it now.
You don't really have to do the hokey pokey. I was just
I'll
kidding.
do that too. I don't.
Makes me think of roller skating.
I know something that would be great that I wanted to bring up before and I forgot. Did I ever show you guys my mainstream news theme song?
No.
It's kind of stupid, but
Is it just me or did everybody lose sound?
I might just be you. I've got sound.
I've got sound. I hear you out.
I'm sure I did it to myself, playing around with music, sharing stuff earlier. I'll figure it out. I've probably been talking over y'all. I apologize.
A little bit. That's okay.
So I found out we're doing this in the...
No clue. But what I'll do is get out of the call and get back in. So just be looking for me to let me back in, I guess. I don't know what I've done here. Sorry, again, if I probably talked over everybody for the last 25 or 15 minutes. Sorry.
It's all good.
I put a Dub Effects video in the chat there, but I don't know if it's gonna give us a copyright strike or do something like that.
If it's copyrighted, it might do that. Most likely. I fixed it. I figured out what I did. I actually hit the other mute button with my finger when I hit my mute button. All right.
What's that? What's that in the background?
Sounds like probably something Bob's watching.
Oh, you know what? You got something Bob's watching in the background, yes.
Oh, like,
that's hysterical.
What's that noise?
That is hysterical. I was waiting to see we were playing the game. Who's going to talk first? I'm just happily building the 6 because these are going to work out very cool, but you need a bazillion of the sticks, and they don't have the ends on them. I don't know why.
What are you
build them
actually
without
building?
them. I'm going to build out the grid and like 3D look at it and see how will work as far as circuitry and that. So pretty much a 3D separate with the pillars out of Legos. I can also do it's actually pretty cool. I can do geodesic shapes, which I'm going to do to a group of like geodesic shapes and that we can take toroids and that. So you can do all kinds of the solid platonics, the toroids. And again, I'm going to work on the saffron in a little bit. As soon as I have some more sticks together, I'll build one up pretty quickly. That building is really easy. They come as straws, and each straw needs a connector on each end that's like a real pain in the butt to get it in there. It's wiggling it in. They're supposedly for 3 and up as far as kids, but it's again, you can't use them without the end way. The end pieces aren't built into them. I don't know. So I'm putting basically 1 million end pieces on them, but again, if you don't shove them on there really good, they pop right out. So I'm assembling the sticks.
Oh, okay, so just get a visualization of some of the stuff you've been working on, basically, in a model way. Yeah, that's cool.
Right, because I can with I had it up going pretty good, but I can get like the shape I'll have to in order to lay it down the bottom. But I can pretty much build it out. I think with this, I believe it's going to work. Where again, I can get a visual of it and get a feel of it and see. This will make it, probably like 3 feet tall or 4 feet tall. That I can, again, get a working feel of the electricals and things and the workability of it. Again, troubleshoot a little bit, see what I'm missing. I'm a visual person. I need my visuals.
Have you ever seen Buckminster Fuller's? There's a video clip where he makes this certain sort of it's like a geodesic shape, and it's built out of like squares and triangles, and you can actually you can crush it. It actually sort of folds in on itself. It's very interesting. I'll see if I can find the video clip of him having this sort of movable shape. I built it before. It was fun. Lots of fun.
I found some old artwork. I can put them in Iron Realm, and this is kind of what I'm going to be building. Actually, I have the one to veranda. See if I have it here to push. I might have to walk out the door to my office back there, but let's see if I can find it.
Just good stuff.
I figured out my issue is a short again in my headset. That's what I keep doing, coming in and out. You guys keep coming in and out. I'm sure my sound hasn't stopped because that's all unrelated to my mic.
That sucks.
Sorry. I just don't want to put hands on, so if I start talking over y'all again, just wave at me in the camera. Shut up.
Yeah, so he calls it the vector equilibrium. That's I'll put it in the chat. You've done some interesting work. I really like those geodesic. I've always sort of like, as soon as I've seen those geodesic sort of domes and houses and things like that, there's a fair bit of information about them, but they're really simple to build for one. And I think he had a house and he built it like the main portion of it in like 7 hours because you can prefab it and just slot it together. It was crazy quick. And I was thinking, like, when you look at the shape, they're really good in the windy environments. And I was thinking, like, why don't these people in sort of these tornado places have these geodesic domes? Because the wind shear, it goes right down because the wind just flows over the top of them rather than a sort of a big flat wall. You know what I mean?
Right, it blows over in the snow and that. No, they do a lot of it in Colorado up in the mountains, and people have good luck with it. I mean, it's a popular design. They do go up pretty easy, and these building with it. Who's running a camera, Walt? Because everything is crashing on you. Do you want to run a camera? I might be able to from here. I don't know.
I can try. Did you drop them? Where'd you put them?
I put things in Iron Realm only.
I'll show you these. I'll share screen again for a second. Oh, I've got to close that. These are you ever seen the biodomes?
Mm-hmm.
These things. Crazy. they're sort of like, they're not really like the geodesic in a sense, but they are. And the way they built these, they had to have a sort of inside and outside, but they have huge sort of different environments in there for different types of plants. I think they have, it's almost like different regions,
That's fabulous. They do something similar to the end one
Sure
over
do.
swimming pools a lot. That is so
That's folk.
cool.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to go visit one of these places, but yeah. And what they do, they have like two layers, and they'll have a small pump and it blows air. So they're basically like inflatable pillows. They did it for a building in, I think it was the Olympics in Beijing, the swimming pool there. But it's the same thing, and it adds this layer. They're like pillows, and you get this sort of when you do that second layer, it's the same as like what you can do for some greenhouses. You can change the environment really well.
Yeah, you can see with the linting on there, it would do a lot. I mean, look at how they're controlling it. It makes you think of a bug's eye, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it's so it doesn't actually take much power to actually keep these inflated. It's only like a small pump, but it's just keeping it pressurized. So if there's any leaks, it doesn't really affect it so much.
That's
and
brilliant.
It just get run on a gauge. Yeah. And I always thought, like, if I was going to design a house or something, I'd use one of these as the top portion. So basically live in a greenhouse.
Except for, you know what else it makes you think of? And in case you have people that would be irresistible, it looks like bubble wrap, giant bubble wrap.
Yeah.
So it's like, at some point you'd be like tempted to jump on it and try to pop the bubbles, but I imagine it's pretty sturdy. Can you crawl on it?
Don't know. Yeah, it'd be pretty thick. Like even like the greenhouse material I've got for at home here, it's really quite thick. But yeah.
Hey, while you're sharing,
I'd prefer glass.
Yeah. Popping into the Skype and grabbing those pics. I've gotten them up, and I don't have sharing enabled, and you're up doing it. So just grab them and show them.
I put 4 pictures in Iron.
I just don't have
Lucas. Grab it. Yeah, that's no problem. Lucas.
Okay. Yeah.
I would if I have them on this, not on that computer, and I'm inside on the floor. I'm sorry, I'm a blinker on it. So go down
these ones here?
slide down. That one, if you guys remember, I did that on your show, and I added in the turtle and the skies on it, but that's just doing the magnetics up and how they would do it on the skies and how we see the skies net above it. So
so the sky's there. Yep.
Keep going. I'll show you in another one. But it's going to be hard to tell. I'm building on that one. That's very cool. That's anisotropic. If people didn't see this is a cool little video. Have you seen this, Lucas?
Yeah, I did see this. Yep.
Yeah. That's just showing mica between Polaroid filters, and it's a quality called anisotropic, bringing out all the colors.
Awesome.
You can probably skip past it. I'm sorry. These are what I'm building with, and so you can tell, like, there's pages and pages of different shapes that you can do.
Yes.
Game ports, and okay, that's what I'm going to be building, except for in 3D.
Nice.
Yep.
And that was another one. So if you look at where the 6 are and where the points are, that, and I'm going to add in the ends of it that aren't shown on there, but I'm going to like put that out in 3D. And the magnetics on it. So that's what I'm playing with the Tinker Toys. Cool. And it should go together really easy. I might have a stick around and do it. I just needed I didn't have near enough sticks to work with, and it was just better to assemble a whole bunch of sticks first. All right. Thank you for sharing. But that's what I'm building. And that's what I did that with Iron Realm a couple of years ago. It's fun finding it again.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was like when you first came on.
Mm-hmm. And then the files completely disappeared into nowhere land. I mean, I scanned the computers, I scanned everything for the files, names, I did it all, they disappeared. And now all of a sudden, I was cleaning up my desktop, and they popped into it along with just out of the blue on my phone. This was the strangest thing because I haven't had my phone that long. But on my phone, it said camera roll May 6th, 2012, and it threw out a group of pictures that I took in 2012. And I don't know where it was getting them. It wasn't from, I mean, it was obviously connecting with a computer somewhere in the house. It was kind of freaky. But I'm like posting it and thinking, where was I May 6th, 2012? It turns out I was in Joshua Tree at a retreat. That was actually in the Nassim Harriman retreat in 2012. Times have changed a bit, but it was like, is this Sedona? Is this Joshua Tree? You could tell it was the desert, but it's like these pictures, they came out of nowhere and just popped up on my phone saying that you were here in 2012. And it's like, that's crazy. Anybody else have weird things like that happen to them?
Yeah, I come across posts of where like I posted some lyrics from some song, and I'll have been listening to the same song that day, and then see that I talked about it 10 years ago or something. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, the synchronicities are happening a lot and coming together quickly with that.
So yeah, what you're seeing here is another part of the Buckmeister Fuller's sort of works, and he basically created this type of shape. It's basically out of squares and triangles. He calls it the vector equilibrium, and you can see it actually. No, it's different to the buckyball. But you can see it actually you'll see it fold onto itself, and it's a really interesting sort of structure.
I like the tensile structures too, where you build them out of the strings and they hold the tensile strength.
So yeah, here's how he squashes it down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it just folds in on itself. It's a really interesting structure that he come across. So yeah, it sort of twists around. Anyway, thought that was interesting. I thought I'd share that. I thought that was fascinating when I first seen it. I'm like, wow, this. Yeah.
That's nuts, man. That's really crazy shit.
Yeah. Because usually you don't see those sort of any structures like that when you're talking about, your platonic solids and things like that. You don't usually see them.
No, you can get them all done in the tensile ways. Yeah, you could. They all do that. It is the coolest way of having them. The Tinker Toys is kind of cheating, but no, you can all do the platonic solids and the tensils, and they are cool that way. I want to do a lot of things. So much fun to have and so many chores to do, right? But I can't complain. I have a digital microscope coming, and we have filters, and we're doing all kinds of fun stuff over here. So, and again, planning tomorrow.
Can I share?
Please.
I believe you've got it, sir.
Have the power.
What the hell?
Yeah, I just find that geometry really interesting. I was actually watching a video yesterday with about all those star forts, and supposedly so far they've found about 1,600 different star forts. Just really amazing how they built them and what the geometry of them. It's really fascinating where they're sort of be interesting to have someone that actually knows quite a bit about that sacred geometry stuff to actually show how they actually planned out these things, because there's not only just star forts in one section, but they seem to correspond to other star forts all the way around. It's like this, a giant a giant amount of land planning, and that's sort of, it's not only how they built them, but with the amount of bricks. I mean, you're talking about millions of bricks in just one building, but not only that, to actually plan it out over a large scale is just a mega amount of work. And it's just, I was sitting there going, well, why do they need to do that? So or what was the purpose? And obviously it wasn't for battlements and things like that, as they told us. That just seems silly to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I play this, do you guys get the sound too? I don't know how this works.
You got to share your sound when you choose. Like when you share a video, there's an option somewhere on that part to share the sound as well. There may even be an option to optimize for video or something like that, maybe.
You might have to stop sharing and re-enter and press.
Yeah, Josh, let me have share again, and I can look and see what it looks like.
It's just a little button down the bottom before you press it, sort of go into it.
Yeah, as soon as you hit share again, you'll see on the bottom left of that menu, you'll see share sound and then optimize for video or whatever too. Unless you're on a phone, and then you'll have to get Zach to help you. I don't know how to do it on a phone.
Holy crap.
And then it could completely be like just Zoom, being zoomy. Being zoomy.
Where is it on the left?
Yeah, but as soon as you before you hit start sharing, you had to have hit the sound option. Like unshare, and then as soon as you hit share screen on that white screen on the bottom left, share sound and optimize for video clip.
I just get like a pop-up thing at the top.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. When I hit share screen, the little white window comes up with like different options of the different.
Oh, I found a
share, and then there's
permissions thing. Is that it?
No, that's not it either. I'm not sure why yours is different, unless it's a Zoom update I haven't gotten yet, which I do put off all my updates as long as I possibly can, so it's quite possible it's different. Anyone?
Sorry, I zoned out.
No, I don't know that. I'm not getting it.
Have you tried to share? It's a video you're playing. Have you tried sharing the entire screen?
But yeah, the sound share is
like not just the
you actually start sharing
the page. Yeah.
Sound share. And if I just saw pause share as one of the options. If that's what you're doing, just don't do that. Like completely stop sharing. And
right. No, that's
come back in. Yeah. Oh, dude, I don't know why. Because when I hit share screen, every time there it is, white window.
When I hit share screen, I get allow Zoom to see your screen, and then I have to pick window or whole screen or whatever.
That is an update, or maybe it's an old version of Zoom that you need to update. I don't know, guy. I really don't. That's never seen that one. Now I do have. Wait, do I see? So yeah, you see at the top of the little white screen, you see basic, advanced, and files. Go back over to basic. Is that something you can see?
No,
I don't know. I'm trying, man.
Yeah, so when I click on share screen, it comes up with that white window. It shows you all the windows that you can actually pick, and then it says down the bottom, share sound or optimize for video clip.
No, I don't have that. I get like a thing up here at my.
Okay.
Are you running like Linux or something? Are you doing any kind of? I'm just trying to figure out what.
Can you? Is that a video on YouTube? Maybe you can send it to Josh or something. He can share it. Just put it in the chat.
Yeah, drop it here. I can try to do it, just for something different.
I'll show you some of these Star Forts. See that? Boom. This is Stuffed Beagle, so it's
That's
one of
what's
his
up,
video
babe.
clips. So go and give him a sub. Hopefully we'll have him on the show in a
Yes, please.
few weeks, and
Yes.
he'll go through some of the stuff that he's found very interesting. Material he goes through, but yeah, you can see the sort of geometry there in these. It's just phenomenal. Like, and they're not all
and the amount
different.
of work it takes to move that much earth. Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look where they are on a big hill. It's like, hate to be the dude shipping the bricks up there, that's for sure. Like, this is big too. This is not small.
Oh yeah, those walls are probably at least 10 feet tall, if not way taller.
I don't know what that thing in the center is. It's
Iron
trippy.
Cross, man.
Yeah, well, surely had a function though, not just.
I'm
put
sure
a-
I was just being silly because that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it was Iron Cross in the middle of it all. And I don't know why. It must be slightly flared just enough on the ends of those cross points to make me think Iron Cross, because it's really not, but subtly it is. Can you see what I mean? Well, I'm about to puke now.
Oh my gosh, quit spinning.
Yeah, sorry about that. That one's cool. Surely it's going to do something to the water when it's like that, maybe. I don't know.
Sorry. So have you ever seen that table the guy built out of like magnets and steel ball bearings and sand, and they are like on this computerized system that makes all these geometric designs inside the sand on a continual basis?
Yeah,
I'll send you the link. It's pretty amazing. I don't want to share it because
You
I
can
know he's
buy 'em.
monetized.
It's
and it might,
what do they call those? Not
yeah,
like
you can buy the table and have it next to you on in your living room. It's doing
kinetic
that all
sculpture,
the time.
kinetic sand
That's
sculpture.
it. That's it. Similar to like the idea of the pendulum suspended over the sand pit, and you swing it and it does the various shapes. A lot of the imagery reminds me of Star Forts when they show some of what it does. So that layering and that layering and that layering that we saw a few of them back, just that idea and the idea of these shapes being part of the grid system, and then the idea that we were talking about this morning on the show about the Hebrew being physical shapes of sound, and how the sound might be the reason these shapes are the way they are. It might not just be energy, it might also be something to do with the sound, the cymatics. Look,
Absolutely.
cymatic pattern, right
Absolutely.
fucking there, right there. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so much work put into these things, and even the geometry is not always even, as you can see in
That's
some
what I
of
was
these.
thinking
There's
about.
sort of-
It might be the energy upwelling of those spots. That is the signature point of the ley line in that area. And in some parts of the world, because of magnetism, because of lodestone under the ground, because of whatever,
Yeah.
those would be different shaped, like those irregular ones that we keep seeing. So yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know whether they were measuring something in the earth first. Yeah,
Like that. There you go. Perfect example. That would be a place where something's different under the ground, in that field, in that energy, in that area. Wow, it's like an I Ching. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, there's about 1,600 of them so far. So yeah, you could probably walk out into your backyard and you might find a star fort. So
I don't know
Crazy.
about Louisiana Star Forts. It's something I haven't looked at. I know there's crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's one out past New Orleans, about 75 miles southeast, right on the tip out there. There's a Star Fort out there.
anyway, I'll stop sharing that. Go and suss his channel out. That was a brilliant thing. Goes for like an hour showing all the different star forts. So it's bonkers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Did you
I
drop
didn't realize there was that many.
them?
No, me neither. I was just like, wow, this is lots of work, lots of bricks. I think the bricks are the key, like how they build them, how they, yeah. So so much more to
that's
learn,
just
basically, for us.
amazing. Yeah, we're idiocracy.
Fuck yeah.
So much.
So
I put
anything-
this video in the chat on Zoom.
And I grabbed it, and then I started looking at Star Force. Sorry. I did. Like, I got wrapped up.
Sorry,
It's a
distracted.
common problem.
All right, hang on.
OBS just crashed on me too. So
Oh, would you like me to wait till?
Lovely.
no, you're fine. We're good.
Oh,
It'll
we're
just
good? Okay.
give me half a second. It's pulling up now.
Well, I will slowly get there. And when you're ready for me to play, we'll see how it works.
Hey, there it is.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
This is my mainstream news theme song.
Is it ready, Josh?
Indeed, it is, sir.
Here are some things you should be scared of. Buy my shit.
It's all you need.
Need to play that for the morning before we go to break.
Oh, wait, I gotta stop. Stop. That is great, dude. Oh, that's good. Oh.
Learning.
I'm learning guitar. All right. Stop. Man, stop.
So I had some song lyrics here. I wanted to see if you guys wanted to. I don't know. To me, they seem a little. The one definitely has some flat Earth stuff going on. The one is more. I don't know, talking about what kind of education and just the systems in general. But if you guys are into that,
Absolutely.
Sure show.
So, the first one is the Hives Walk Idiot Walk. You guys might know that one. That was a little popular when it was new.
No, I've never heard that
Yeah,
one.
I don't think I do.
I haven't listened to music in a long time though, so you can't take my yeah.
So they're like I'm not sure now, so I'm gonna sound dumb. I want to say like Swedish or something, but they're like a almost sort of like rockabilly kind of band. They all wear the same suit and that kind of thing. But this song, Walk Idiot Walk. So
Sounds familiar.
yeah, you might have seen the video. The dude's like walking up the wall and stuff. But so it says, "Is it true what they say about it? They say it's new, but I have to doubt it. And they tell you everything about it. Had enough." So that's like, that could go either way, right? I got some people saying this way. I got some people saying that way. I got some people saying there's no way. Ain't it tough? Then the chorus is, see the idiot walk, see the idiot talk, see the idiot chalk up his name on the blackboard. See the robot walk, see the robot talk, see the robot write up his name on the ballot. They say this is all I need to get by. The truth is, baby, it's a lie. So at very least, we're talking about teachers and, the political system being kind of a sham.
Absolutely. I like that. And who is this again? Because I pulled my damn thing and the short happened, so I missed the name of the band.
The Hives.
Let me check that out.
So then we have, is it true what they say about it? You ought to do what I do and doubt it. He won and now he's going to do something about it. Ain't it sad? And if you don't want to feel like a putz, collect the clues and connect the dots. You'll see the pattern and it's bursting your bubble and it's bad. And then we have the same chorus again. And then then the whole song kind of breaks down and there's like a quiet, run through the verse. And we have, if we review the winning combination, body at work and a mind on vacation, who had the brain where it started to sink in, it was you. And then we have, see the robot or see the idiot walk, see the idiot talk. But you never learn nothing and nothing isn't over. They say this is all I need to get by. The truth is, baby, it's a lie.
Yeah, that was a killer song. Love that song.
It seems so specific that, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, they should bring it back out again. Put masks on and show it all.
Right? No shit. No shit.
Do another video clip just breaking it down like that other band did. You know, that was stacking toilet paper and all the rest of it.
So the second one, I think we talked about Punch Brothers before, which nobody probably knows but me, but they're kind of a bluegrass band. And I think this is a cover. Oh, yeah, it is. It's by Josh Ritter, which I don't really know if that's a guy's very known either. But the song's called Another New World. So that totally caught me immediately. And that's not that long. So I'll just start going through it. The leading lights of the age all wondered amongst themselves what I would do next. After all, I found in my travels around the world, was there anything left? Gentlemen, I said, I've studied the charts, and if what I'm thinking is right, there's another new world at the top of the world for the first one to break through the ice. So, like, we're already going there. And I looked around the room in that way I once had, and I saw they wanted belief. So I said, all I've got are my guts and my God. And I paused, and the Annabelle Lee, and I saw her eyes shine, the most beautiful ship in the sea, my Nina, my Pinta, my Santa Maria, my beautiful Annabelle Lee. So this guy wants to go break through the ice to another new world, right? Spring we set sail, the crowds waved from the shore, and on board the crew waved their hats. But I never had family, just the Annabelle Lee, so I never had cause to look back. I just set the course north, and I'd study the charts, and towards dawn I drifted towards sleep, and I dreamed of the fine deep harbor I'd find past the ice for my Annabelle Lee. After that it got colder. The world got quiet, it was never quite day or quite night. And the sea turned the color of sky, turned the color of sea, turned the color of ice. Till at last all around us was fastness, one vast glassy desert of arsenic white, and the waves that once lifted us sifted instead into drifts against Annabelle's side, and the crew gathered closer. At first for the warmth, but each day would bring a new set of tracks in the snow leading over the edge of the world till I was the only one left. Then it gets cloudy, but it seems like I laid there for days and maybe for months. Oh, but Annabelle held me, just the two of us happy to think back on all we had done. We talked of the other new worlds we'd discover as she gave up her body to me. As I chopped up her mainsail for timber, I told her of all that we still had to see. As the frost turned her moorings to nine-tail and the winds lashed her sides in the cold, I burned her to keep me alive every night in the loving embrace of her hold. And I won't call it rescue that brought me back here to the old world to drink and decline and pretend that the search for another new world was well worth the burning of mine. But sometimes at night in my dreams comes the singing of some unknown tropical bird, and I smile in my sleep thinking Annabelle Lee's finally made it to another new world. That's about it.
I dig
That's
that.
awesome.
That is awesome. The Annabelle Lee.
And just the part where he talks about the sea turned the color of sky, turned the color of sea, turned the color of ice. Like, not only is that a ridiculous tongue twister, but that,
Sky
I don't know. Yeah. That song blew my mind when the first time I heard it. I was like, I had to go back and like actually study it.
Send links to those if you don't mind, sir, to us. So we can
Will do.
share. Those are awesome.
Just clicking stuff.
Yeah, I haven't listened to music in a long time. Anything new? Chief Crow and the Flat Earthworms is the last new thing I've listened to since I don't even know when. 16 years ago, maybe, something like that. Yeah, and music used to be like it was like my life. Everything revolved around music. And I found out how they use it as a weapon, and this and that, and I was like, oh man. So yeah, that really, I got into sports and politics instead. I was so lost back
Whoa, well, there's much better.
then. Yeah, exactly.
I did that for a while. I kind of backed out of some of the shit I used to really love, and I don't know. It's kind of like the whole thing of discernment and being aware. And I know there's still shit that can get through, and music is just too much a part of me. I can't give it up. I'm a junkie, man.
I hear you. I just want to dance.
Exactly.
I was teaching Jaron about that movie and how, I mean, the first one was so bad. You go and remake it? Really? Footloose? And he's like, well, what's it about? I was like, oh, it's about this guy who moved to a town, and in the town, after one of their dances they had 20 some odd years ago or whatever, some kids went drinking and got into an accident and died, so they forbid dancing. Dancing is not allowed in this town. Yeah, so this one kid moves in, and he loved to dance, and he's just got to dance, and these kids had never danced before, and it was just so stupid. He's out in the woods all mad, and he starts like dancing.
It was an abandoned warehouse, asshole.
Okay, who was the one out in the woods then? Who did the one out in the woods?
You're harshing on Josh's favorite movie, I can tell here.
I mean, look, in the mid 80s, you can get away with having a town that's outlawed dancing. Okay.
Yes,
nowadays, you can't just try to work that into a storyline and have it be okay. Unless you're doing like a period piece from the mid 80s. Otherwise, it's just garbage. But look, Ren was a major influence in me growing up.
This dude.
I knew it.
Hells yes.
Which one was Ren?
The main character.
The big city guy.
The one from Chicago.
6 degrees of
The one
Josh
that had
Corey,
to dance. Kevin Bacon.
Oh, that's what's up, Matt Pyman. I just got there and saw you. He knows 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Now, mind you, I was raised by a single mom with an older sister, so I can also quote Sound of Music and Little Orphan Annie and
back in the day. I mean,
all about the musicals.
Tremors was awesome.
I noticed Josh was one of the ones smiling when I mentioned Pretty Woman.
Oh yeah, I know all about it. All about it.
Richard Gere too now.
I was even thinking about your kitty's name.
I got nothing left.
All sorts of good stuff.
I have a video here to answer Cammy's question from earlier about one of my
favorite. What inspired?
So I did a baritone uke version of a Nirvana song. That I just like. I don't know what else to say about it. Just took it a weird place.
So my new computer should be en route. He's going to make UPS package it this time themselves. So they don't like how it's packaged. It's on them.
Awesome.
So,
we both got interesting computer news today.
Yeah, hopefully in the near future it won't be so choppy. But I can actually share this, I think.
Cool. I hate to even share mine because I don't want to jinx anything. But let's just say a guardian angel is looking out for me, and hope it all works out like it should. I know it will, but it just may be a step or two to get to that point. So, and I have work to do with it as well. So, but we're all gonna make it work out. I'm pumped up. So, but I'm excited for you too. So yours definitely took a lick. Hey, dude, what is with you and hammers and freaking computers? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a real good question. It's a real good question. I thought the same thing as soon as I opened it. I thought, well, funny if this ain't the first time I've seen this damage done to a computer sent to me through the mail. All right, look at me go. Look at me go. Look at me do it. All right, we just need a little volume. Nope. Try that. Nugs, not drugs.
Depends on the nugs, though. Am I right?
Totally.
I'm sorry I laughed over your song. That was
No,
awesome.
see, this is why I'm excited to get the new computer. This is still only 720. This shit should be roaring through like it's cool.
I was gonna try again, but I figured I wouldn't even bother.
Like, what the hell?
Well, I saw that they said there was a black screen when I was sharing video a while ago, or I would have tried again. So I could try it. It could have been your OBS issues that maybe had the black screen happen earlier. I don't know. Well, hi there. Hi.
Huh. It
Come on, me to share it.
Fuck you.
Somehow.
Hey, give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen?
Mine seemed to be working before. Where was it in the chat there, is it?
Yeah, here in the call.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, you see that?
Yep.
Oh, no sound. Sorry. Oh, no, there you go. Can you hear that?
Yeah, it's a little quiet at the beginning. Nugs, not drugs.
Yeah, no, I'm not hearing it at all.
Yeah, now
Yeah, I can't hear it either.
You what? You can't hear it?
No.
Can't hear it.
All right, so when you open it up, there's this white screen.
I know. I didn't press it. Jeez. All right. Go back here. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
I would never bother you. I would never promise to. I would never follow you. I would never bother you. Never say a word again. I will crawl away for good. I will move away from here. You won't be afraid of fear. No thought was put into this. I always know to come to this. Things have never been so swell. I've never failed to feel pain. I'm so warm and calm inside. I no longer have to hide. Let's talk about someone else. Sterling still begins to know. Nothing really bothers her. She just wants to love herself. I will move away from here. You won't be afraid of fear. No thought was put into this. Always know to come to this. Things have never been so swell. I've never failed to feel pain. you're right. You know you're right.
Peace. Awesome.
I dig it.
I like that one.
And it would appear we've been joined once again by Pat from Pat Life Podcast. Am I getting this right?
Correct.
All right.
You are.
How's it going, Pat?
I love. It's good, man. I just I'm glad I was able to jump in. My son went to bed early, and it's just awesome that Terrestrial Max on at the exact same time.
I know it's like you're only two people we have on the show.
I hope I'm not ruining your vibe, man. That was beautiful, man. Really good.
No, it's an absolute honor to have you here. Thanks so much for popping in.
Oh,
How's it going,
you guys.
Patrick? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Zach? I'm doing well,
Good
man.
to see you
Just,
again, man. How's the
you
little
guys
man doing?
too. He's no longer little, man. He's getting big.
Can't tell if it's right. My freezing up.
Yeah. He's what's so funny is you know, because we were talking music last time, so I'll play my guitar, and in my head I'm like I'm crushing, I got a good melody going, and he'll just come up to me and be like, no, like I'm like, you don't want me to play anymore? He's like, that. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll stop. You know what I mean?
Critic, harsh critic. Welcome back, Pat, man. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
How you doing, Pat? I'm here too. I made it.
I was gonna say, I see you. How was the market? Did you skip it?
Nah, no market today. So.
Too cold.
Not selling those cucumbers?
Nah. I got hardly anything in the garden at the moment. It's sort of transition, so most summer crops are coming out and
nice.
Just getting the beds ready and putting more stuff in. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, what did I miss? I don't want to ruin the flow here.
Well,
you go, Josh.
I was just going to say we debuted our cover song. We had Terrestrial Mac do us a cover of some Blind Melon. And which turned out just spectacularly awesome.
Awesome.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of all the weird synchronicities going on, when I had to go work on my car today, which I know Josh knows, but that's the whole thing. Not only am I moving, but I got to hit a deer the other day. But when I showered today, I almost put on the exact same shirt that I was wearing the last time that we did the show too. And I was like, I refused to do it because that would just be bizarre. But
I was gonna say, yeah, I say I haven't changed since the last one, so you got me beat.
Yeah, welcome to fatherhood.
Kids will do that, friend.
I was just making up that story to avoid saying that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not on camera half the time, because I'm just wearing the same clothes for weeks on end.
So if I may, I actually have some stuff I'd love to bring to you guys.
Yes, for sure.
So obviously with the podcast, I actually have Mr. Dave Weiss coming on next Tuesday.
Good.
So I posted something about this on social media. Yeah. So I posted something on social media about it. And a guy I went to high school with, kind guy, no issues. Just he likes to voice his opinion. So he was talking about how this is the biggest conspiracy theory ever. Why would anyone believe this? And I had this thought in my mind. I try to keep it very cordial because usually they just rifle off all these things why it's wrong. And you're like, I can try to hit you point by point. However, what is that going to do? You don't really want the answer. So I thought to myself, I'm like, if I can get on this podcast, maybe we can make this work where I can try to the things that he said and having 6 people, 7 people, however many, to talk about this. Not that he's watching. I'll send it his way. Don't get me wrong. But the biggest thing, right, is he's talking about flight patterns, as everyone else does. If I may, since I'm in a chat with a lot of gentlemen, and I think Cammie's around here somewhere.
I am.
Hello, Cammie.
Hello.
Playing in her pillow fort. Don't let her fool you.
Oh, nice.
I'm just joking. She's doing some crazy
No, seriously, I'm
stuff.
playing with the fort. Keep going. I'm seeing what things I can rig it with.
We have, so this is the question, all right? What about these flight patterns? He says that everybody knows, pilots, that it's a curvature. They take into effect curvature. This is his words, not mine. And on the screens, on flights, as he said, because he was on a flight, it's curved. What do you guys have to say?
Well, first of all, I want to ask you just before we get started. You got Dave coming on. Do you have his Flat Earth Sun Moon Zodiac Clock app?
Dude, so real quick on that note, I do have it. I've had it for a while. Part of my journey into seeing these things and making sense of this was watching some of, DIT RH. I had Marty Leeds on just the other day, and actually I've been trying to reach out to Weiss, figuring a way, and it just so happened he reached out to me on Instagram, saw the video of that, and was like, dude, I'll blow your mind, get me on your podcast. And I thought it was like a scam artist. I was like, man, this is going to be like people fucking with me. And I looked, I'm like, oh shit, it's Dave Weiss's podcast. I was like, sign it up. I was like, hey man. So I have the app already. He was like, oh, you're already into it? I'm like, yeah. But you still want to chat? He's like, oh, of course. So, but I do have it.
So here's my question next is, do you think your old friend from high school would be willing to download the app? If I were to send you a voucher, a coupon for a free download, just say, look, here it is. You're going to have a lot of questions. These are going to cover a lot of the points, those FAQs and all that stuff. You think that'd be something he'd be into?
If you send him my way, I will 100% in his way. Now, if he does that, it's obviously in his hands, but I'd be more than happy to send his way because LC, you follow me. You can look at the conversation. It's all public. It's right in there. It's not DM. And
I read a bit of it.
You what?
Well, tell your buddy about the Bitcoin.
Yeah, I read a bit of it.
Yeah. So you see how he just kind of rifles off, right?
Yeah, I sort of, when I say I read it, I sort of got his gist and then skimmed over his big, long fucking rant.
Well, yeah, it's kind of one of those things, in my opinion, and maybe you guys have more experience. It's when people start to see more people going against how they view the world or on certain topics. It's kind of almost this projection of getting all these emotional triggers out of their system in one long text. So it's all like, why would anyone lie? How can so many people be in on a lie? The curvature doesn't matter in small distances. And it's like, okay, let's break this down. You know what I mean? Like you can't go point by point in text message. So, but I guess my question to you guys then, let's just kind of open it up. I mean, your audience already knows a lot of this stuff, but when they talk about these flight patterns, why is that something for someone who's considered a globe Earth? Why are they so attached to that it doesn't prove a flat Earth mentality?
I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, planes fly in straight lines from point A to point B, whether it's on a globe or on a flat Earth. Now, like on a globe, they should be flying, you would think, the southern routes should be taking shortcuts near Antarctica. I mean, they fly over the North Pole, real close to it. Why can't they fly over Antarctica? They say, well, they don't have any landing places, this and that. It could be dangerous, this or that. Okay, well, you could skim around the outside edge even. Yeah. There's islands out there, and they don't, ever. There's the certain islands that, or the certain flight paths that are only done by a handful of pilots. They're ex-military pilots, and the planes have like 7 layers of this certain kind of paint on it, heat-resistant paint. And the jet streams out there get up to like 250 miles an hour. So a plane doing, they say they do about 550, something like that in the air cruising. You give it 250 miles an hour, that plane's now doing 800 miles an hour, and they can make these times. I mean, the only flights that really contradict a flat Earth are never consistent. Sometimes they're 8, 9, 12 hours longer than they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing that has to do with flight paths, in my opinion, that help globe Earth in any way.
Right. Okay. Anyone else want to chime in? because he brought up some other things that I thought could be interesting for the conversation.
I think it tries to pull in that spirit of authority. It's not like a rocket scientist, right? Or some NASA engineer who you'll never be able to interact with. But these are just your average, everyday pilots. How do you think they learn to fly? How do you think they can land? Of course, everybody knows that the maps, that the flight paths are based on a spinning, rotating, hurtling through space sphere. I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, millions of people wouldn't be able to travel if the Earth was flat. The fact that we do it every day shows that the Earth's a ball. I'm not going to look into it. I'm not going to ask, how did they learn to fly? What do the flight manuals say? I'm just going to assume I see people landing, Earth's a ball, bada bing, bada boom.
Gotta work, right?
Must be the flight paths.
And I think it also comes down to, for those people that are sort of bringing up those points, is, they really haven't looked at the flat Earth map, or they really haven't looked at what we're actually presenting. So there's nothing really, they just understand the globe sort of stuff in their minds, but they haven't really translated that across to say, well, what is your actual model? So until you actually get across into that, and they actually start to see how things would work in our, because they're completely separate in a sense.
Yeah.
And you can't just fit one to the other. So until they get a clear picture of like, oh, this is how your map layout, this is where you would go with north and south, and this would be east and west, and that goes in a circle, and until they understand some of those concepts, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to them in their own mind.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's
first
one of
one
those,
that came. Oh, sorry, go TJ.
I think it's the kind of thing too that they don't even realize that they've never thought about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? That's interesting too. You say that. I saw someone share a meme the other day about how the sizes of countries are skewed, and this is someone who I've seen sort of take shots at flat Earth stuff before. So I had to leave a comment in sarcasm font, like, but all the pilots would have to be in on it. How can the sizes of countries be different? Like, I mean, what a stupid thing.
Right. Yeah.
I think the first one of these that caught all of our attention as a community was a few years back when there was a lady on a flight, I think from Taiwan. I could be incorrect, but somewhere in that general vicinity, heading to California. Is that right? And then in the middle of the flight, she went into labor, and so they derailed to Alaska, because that makes sense on a ball. It doesn't. It makes no sense. But if you put it on a flat map, it's a straight shot.
Right.
So, and I sent you a link here in our chat on the Zoom call that actually kind of details some of those flights if you want to.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck.
Well, what's interesting in just this conversation, this isn't the only conversation I've had. Obviously, I've expressed my points and my opinions, and where I start to see my overall outlook being very similar to you guys and Cammy. But what's interesting is LC, as you were saying, is that when people start to tell you, or you say, hey, I don't believe the Earth's a spinning ball, how people start to tell you what you believe. And that for me it's not offending in any way. It's actually very interesting, because it's, as you were saying, like, they don't look into it. They haven't actually taken the time. And it always comes down to one thing or the other, in my opinion, is they don't look because they're afraid of what they'll find, or they don't look just because they're lazy, and it's just easier to project whatever it is that they would rather project. So in my opinion, that's what I was noticing with this, and is like, oh, what do you think? It's just a flat disk? And I'm like, I hear this all the time. So it's clearly a program that they're receiving. So it's like, okay, well, if that's how you perceive how I see it, then there's no real issue here. It's just a matter of learning how to then go, okay, well, this is how you already have perceived how I view it. There's really no change. There's not about changing your mind, but there's no even having a real conversation here. You know what I mean? But I've noticed more people, when they do that, you kind of leave it pretty broad, like I did with him, being like, hey, man, it's just, you believe what you need to believe, man. Don't don't make opinions about me that you don't have an answer to. And it's like, well, it sounds so ridiculous, but why would they lie? And then you start to realize, like, they really want to know. Some people want to know. It's like their way of like flirting. It's like, you're ugly. Okay, fuck off. And then they're like, but I like want to talk. And you're like, that was the weirdest fucking way to do it. So
it's like Dave always says too, like, believing stuff is easy. You just believe it and get on with your day, go watch football, go, do whatever.
Yeah. But yeah. So the other one was the bridges actually factor in curvature. Long bridges.
Okay.
And hold on. I gotta, this is not a disrespect. This is purely out of just making sure that I'm not putting words in his mouth. Just because, yeah. So he said that, especially at, bridge construction, long bridge construction and megalith technology certainly include curvature of the earth. That's verifiable. That's a quote. So can you guys, any comments on that?
Yes.
Yeah,
did he
look
verify it, or did he just say verifiable?
He said it's the technology is curvature of earth. That's verifiable.
Go ahead
Allegedly.
and have him go to, again, they're told about that, but they're working with the planner surveyors, which they always say is good enough to build whatever you're building out there. And even with the bridges and that, no, it's you can say it's in there, but go ahead and have them look at the map and find it.
And look, you can totally do that. You can take a bridge and you can factor in what the curvature would be. If your ball was 25,000 miles around at the equator, then you'd have this sort of curvature, and then you could build your bridge accordingly. Mm-hmm. But you're going to see this big hump over this flat water.
And there was a bridge in history that they did.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's in New York, the Terra something or Terrazzato or Cara something. It sounds like an Italian name almost, but they've done this. And there's a huge arc over a flat piece of water.
It didn't. Yeah, it's retarded. It doesn't work at all. They have tried to do it, and it doesn't work. It's not. It's.
I believe there was one other bridge they did, but that bridge is already.
This one, they had one that didn't work there was one that didn't work at all, that they built it from the two edges, and when they came in, that was too off to salvage. I mean, it was really retarded. So there has been problems, but you'll want to have them go into it because you'll find out that the engineering really isn't done. Same with the railroad tracks, same with the things. What people are always told with there is that it will, adjust itself over time. And no, they're not. And just again, tell them when they do railroad tracks and build the straight tracks going into each other. It's not factored in on any of the engineering. And if you look to the bridges, it's nice to think that they are, and it's nice for him to think in the plane that it is being accounted for. But how old is this pilot?
He's not a pilot. He's just an average run-of-the-mill.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, if he was a older pilot, he would know that when he learned how to fly, they didn't take that into account at all. Now, so much of it is done with the flight computer and that you don't really need to know. Right. I mean, you can plot you can go to your Jefferson math and plot your course in that, but you don't. It doesn't. You're not flying over any curvature. Again, you're not dipping your nose down. My husband's done several videos over exactly how much you would have to tip the nose down to maintain it. But more than that, again, you just have to, with him, plant seeds and realize yourself too that. Like I said, they've embedded this before. There's a set of, when you're growing, people have identified it as Piaget, the Piaget conservation skills. And it's a set of skills that you learn usually between the age of 4 and 8. It's problem solving. Mm-hmm. And you're not born with these. People think that children are little adults. Occasionally you have little adults. And I was really into watching them because my son had amazing Piaget conservation skills at a young age that he could solve the problems in that. And that is kind of, the test would be like you can do it right in front of children. Pour 2 glasses of water in where you show them it's the same height. Say, is there more water in this glass than this glass? Pour it into a different glass that's taller. where it looks like there's more water, and the children will sit there, they'll watch you pour it and say, there's more water in that glass, even though I watched you pour it. You don't have the problem solving. When they've embedded the ball into you, it's done very intentionally. All of this is programmed into you before you have the reasoning skills to logically think that you can't be on a spinning water ball, that these things can't be happening. And this is programmed in by you, by your parents. Again, all of the people you would trust, and none of the people that you would ever think would lie to you, your kindergarten teachers, your daycare, your different things like that. Why would any of these people lie? It's programmed into you before you can reason, by people that would never lie to you. And they're not lying to you because they believe what they're telling you is true. So you're already programmed into it, but it's getting people to really stop and apply their cognitive reasoning skills as an adult. Say, no, stop, understand that you were, the reason that I've heard put out the most about lying is that it helps keep control. It's a control mechanism. Yep. That they would not be able to keep the population in control or do things that people would civilization would fall apart. We're told that people that know the secret and are keeping it think that they're doing a great service to humanity by holding humanity together by keeping the secret, that everybody would freak out because of religion and the implications that would happen about us doing it. They've had talks about it, surveys. So keep in mind too that all of the people that are telling the lies now and keeping up with it are not the people that generated the lie. There are people that are on a need-to-know basis that think that they're saving the world by signing away that, again, a non-disclosure in that. So the very few people that do know really think that they're here to help save civilization, and they did not concoct the plan. And so by the time they even would think differently about the plan, you have the high security, your program very good. It's complete top security, top clearance, the highest clearance there is. So again, you have to keep the secret, save it. So why would they lie? But all you have to do is really step back and use your reasoning skills that you do develop later on and reapply them to the ball and say, I realize, why would they lie? The people that taught you didn't lie. The people in charge and that said it are lying or did lie, but now the people don't know how to get out of the lie. But go ahead, apply your reasoning skills to a spinning water ball flying through space at this many miles per hour, if you can do it. I'm not the encyclopedia my husband is, but even again, the sun
1037 at the equator. Yeah.
The sun, I know that people really things that get people's eyes to me are that when you sit there and say how big the sun is, you remember the diagrams and how tiny we are. Think about how small it gets in 8 minutes, 8 light minutes, not a light half hour, not a light hour, certainly not a light day, but 8 minutes. Now,
I saw an article today. Sorry, Cam, but I even sent it to David. So the closest star, Centauri, whatever it's called, right? Guess how big it is compared to our sun?
It's astronomical because they have to make the math that big. What?
No, it is 18% the size of our sun, and it's yet dimmer. And it is dimmer
than our sun, and yet we're able to see it through
and we
the
can
miraculous particles bombarding over years and years, hundreds of light years, where we're looking back into the past. I mean, it's all ludicrous. Right. It's all, make them stop and think of how ludicrous it is. Make them think of how ludicrous, how we're all sold on relativity is just a mind fuck.
Oh, yeah. Well, so real quick, this is kind of how I've deduced many of the things of all these things that we've discussed and have been discussed. We know that part of why it couldn't be a spinning ball is because of the law of thermodynamics, correct? Mm-hmm. That's one. Okay,
not to mention common sense. Tell him to pull out his common sense hat. I mean, tell him to go back to a childlike and relook at it as a child, and try to sell him to ball. Try to sell him to ball on what he knows now.
Totally, but that's the thing, is this is where I'm trying to get myself to know how to approach this. So if we know that by the understanding the laws of thermodynamics, that it cannot be a spinning ball of many other things, but right now this spinning ball is only able to work if gravity works in their theory, right?
It's a made up thing
Right,
to try to describe what they have. They can't.
Right. So that's why I'm saying is that they keep going, well, gravity, right? And we know that that's a theory on top of a theory. So I say, okay, so if we know that gravity is just a theory.
And not only that, but it's dependent of them making up 97% of all matter.
Right.
I mean, they made up something that doesn't work without inventing something that makes,
Right. And that's the thing is that's why I'm just trying to play myself, because I'm learning this stuff. So I'm still an infant. So I'm just trying to deduce it in logic in my own way of going, okay, well, if I know I'm in school and they're saying a law is a law of nature. You can't change it. It is what it is. But a theory is just an idea. It hasn't been proven. It is not a law. So then I ask myself, okay, do I go with the law or do I go with the theory? And that for me is how I did. I mean, there's many things, right? This is just talking to other people, deducing it so simply of like, do you follow a law or do you follow a theory? If we know that the laws of thermodynamics shows, and you can't have a spinning ball.
You can do that, but with a newbie, it's going to be, again, hitting with things like that as a complete newbie. You may want to, I mean, another way of hitting newer people that they've really scratched their head is like when they have the helicopters not going there.
Right.
I've talked to actual people that get to thinking, how does a helicopter work in no atmosphere, and how does a parachute? And people have real life experience where they can connect it. So try to, when you connect things, connect it to what, like that gets this much smaller in 8 minutes. These other things, and they're telling you you're looking around years, put it into how long do you think you would be able to see the light if it got that small at 8 minutes? And how is this happening? I would appeal to things that they can touch and feel and shake them from there, and then go to the law of thermodynamics and go to the other ones when they have or at least again, don't call them nutties, don't call them assholes or globetrotters or anything, because they're really not. They're just not at that part of the journey yet. But I try to make them curious.
Absolutely.
Is the thing that works the best, because people don't tend to jump over to the other team because they're called stupid. And
well, the other thing too that is for me, again, just trying to be as simple as possible, is just going, okay, in a globe sense, right? You're telling me that this fiery ball of gas is super, super hot, and that's what keeps us. That's what creates heat on this planet. Okay, fine. Now let me ask you a question. If I'm going, and not to you guys, this is rhetorical. If I'm getting closer to that source of heat, shouldn't it be hotter? Yes or no? Right? And it's just, these are the logical things that I'm trying to respectfully
walk them through it. Right.
Walk them through it. That hot center boiling mass in the center is generating a dipole magnetic field in the middle. It exceeds the Curie point. Magnetics are killed at these points. I mean, all of the stuff just, everything denies the natural law of physics.
As does the Dewey Center Earth, actually.
Right.
It's the same thing, right? It doesn't work. It shouldn't be magnetic.
It shouldn't be magnetic. Magnets have got a point, and it's not all that hot where they shut off and they're no longer magnetic.
Right.
They don't like heat. Magnets also get much cold. The colder they are, the stronger they are, the more efficient they are.
You guys are forgetting the 23 .4
tilt. And the fact that, again, when we're supposedly
to math and magic and science and gravity is that 23.4 degree tilt. Because, I mean, okay, walk over to your heater, whether it be fire, radiant, whatever heat source you have, and you put your fist balled up over there close to it. And then when it starts to hurt, tilt it 23 degrees and move it a little closer. And when it starts to bubble and smoke, you go, hey, science sucks.
Yeah,
I've noticed too that globe people they like to say Occam's razor, and I know that we know what that means, but they seem to think it means just assuming the first explanation you were told is correct. Like I don't know how when you say that,
even most people
that we're stationary and these things up here move, and they think Occam's razor is this complex system of all these things orbiting and spinning and.
When they can't even do a 3-body, and they're getting further and further. They're getting close to being able to solve a 3-body equation. but again, they sit there and they've watched the patterns that have been drawn in the skies since the beginning of time that follow the Saros cycle that we've had, the Antikythera machine, the astrolabe, and everything. And they're starting to get computers to make the size circles because the arc goes and they swing it around at the right place. And they think that they've solved and that they're making predictions. It's like, you're not predicting shit. We knew what was going on. There's no shit you're predicting. This stuff was all the comets when they're predicting, and the asteroids. All you do is you take your arc, your thing, and you can model it on it. But you know what? Our people were doing that.
Yeah, it's like watching a movie and saying, "Hey, I'm going to predict what you watched it already," and then you go watch it again and say, "I'm going to predict what's going to happen at the end of this movie." Wow, flabbergasted.
I have caught myself reading a book where you're really, if anybody else is honest, they'll probably say the same. But you're reading a really good book and you're into the book and everything, and predictions in the beginning of the book are coming true later on in the book, and you're like, oh my God, how did they know this was going to happen? And you're freaking out, and then you're sitting here thinking, oh my God, of course they knew it was written. It was written this way.
Well, here's one really thing. Like you have Eratosthenes, and people always refer to him as being one of the earliest guys to prove that we live on a globe. When you really look into it, he had lots of assumptions that he had to make, but there were like 5 major ones. And the one that really sticks out to me is that the Earth is a globe, right? He had to start off with the assumption that it's a globe.
What sticks out to me is he had to start off with the assumption that the sun was so far away that it was doing parallel rays, that when you're looking at like our beautiful sun rays going, he had to look at the sun and the sun rays and say that this sun is so ungodfathomably far away that it's making straight, perfectly parallel light beams. And again, look at the sun and tell me how you would ever assume that. How would you ever look up at the sun? Anybody during the day look up in the sun and say that's 90 million miles away? 90 million miles away. So the rays are all coming right at you perfectly straight. None of them are coming in at an angle.
Or if you look into how they got that distance to the sun, also based on pure assumptions. And this is where Occam's razor gets really interesting, because most people confuse Occam's razor with the more generalized principle of parsimony. Most people think, well, the simplest answer is usually the one that's correct, and that's Occam's razor. And it's not. That's the principle of parsimony. Occam's razor is even more specific. Occam's razor is the answer with the fewest assumptions is usually correct.
The cleanest. Again, tell them to look up at the sky, look at the sun, look at the moon in the sky, and think that one of them is so much smaller than the other, not looking at it in the sky. They're the same geometry in the sky. What mathematically, what would make you assume that one is so much further or so much bigger, and that what by looking at it would make you assume that?
I remember trying to bring that up to a friend that I was like, do you realize that the sun and the moon just happen to be, they're completely different sizes, but they just happen to be the right distances that they look exactly the same? Wouldn't it be simpler that they're just exactly the same size and like they, you know, I'm not a rocket scientist or whatever, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, this is what's so interesting is because we've all, at least most of us have been at some point, believed in what was being told. And what is interesting for myself is when I look back to when I opened my eyes to it and was like, oh shit, it's just thinking, what was my headspace then? Why was I willing to receive this information with an open mind? Because as you were saying, Cammie, like, don't be disrespectful, don't be rude. That's not the point of this, right? If you find yourself doing that to somebody, they're not going to want to hear what you have to say. And I just try to think that, okay, well, what was going through my head then when I was going into that ability to just go, all right, I'm ready to receive whatever I see or hear. And it starts to realize, and something I plan on talking about on my own podcast, is just having gratitude for what your life is. And follow me for a sec. In regards to having creativity, having the ability to receive logic, information, pathos, all these different pieces of what makes us who we are, like there's a sense of having grounded gratitude of who you are. or at least what's going on in your life, even if it's hard times, you can be like, hey man, at least, I got a roof over my head. And sometimes you're able to receive more information, if just like in an argument, if you're so heated, you're like, I'm so sorry the way I acted, I just wasn't me. And it's because you close off. But even if you're in a really difficult conversation, you're like, look, I want to figure this out with you. You're willing to at least hear and be like, okay, maybe that stings a little bit. Maybe that hurts to hear that truth, but I'm willing to hear you, or I'm willing to have this back and forth. And then I just realized is just when you have people who might be happy or successful, whatever, but it's like, are you showing gratitude? Do you feel gratitude for the life that you have? And when I realized that a lot of people who aren't in that place, they're not necessarily willing to be receptive to these types of things that go, oof, that hurt to hear. You call me a dickhead and I really care about you and I was a dickhead, or man, I really was duped. You know what I mean? There's not a grateful being like, that's just my opinion. I don't know if you have any comments on it, but that was something that I was like, well, even though life was crazy when I was realizing certain things and waking up to it, it was like, just thinking back, I'm like, but I was so grateful. I was very grateful for as I am now of like what's going on in my life and what I have and what I'm striving for and the trials and tribulations. So you just start to realize a lot of people who are in that headspace, in my opinion, I could be wrong, are just grounded with that gratitude and what comes from gratitude, following your intuition, realizing how beautiful this place is. All the stuff that they call the flat earth religion, it's like, no, it's just believing in source, God, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, yes, that is what I've come to realize. So any comments?
Absolutely, man. That touched something deep. We've talked about this with friends here on the podcast before. A lot of people found not just this, the flat earth truth, but significant epiphanies throughout their life at their lowest point, be it through self-inflicted things, abuse, whatever substances, or in my case, I was in a wreck which literally almost killed me and my wife. I went through a year and a half of just total agony and dealing with all kind of stuff that if it wasn't for her keeping me grounded in gratitude of being alive, like she saved me in the wreck. If she hadn't kept me from leaving, I was out of there because it was horrible what I was going through. Right. Her love and her showing me that I was, as much pain as I was in and much tragedy it was that I was going through, I was glad to be here with her, with my family. My mom came, I was having that again. So the gratitude, I never even put that into the equation. To me, it was just that, I had been through such a traumatic experience that it kind of blown me open and I was ready to receive something. I never thought about the gratitude side of it until literally just now. So yeah, I don't doubt that at all, man.
It's almost like a combination lock. And I think it's going to require certain things. Gratitude, right, I think, is huge and really not one I'd necessarily considered myself. And in having done this for 6 years and all the people I've talked to, by large, a vast majority of them have a humility, I guess is a good way to put it. They have come to a point in their life where they said, guess I don't know it all. For whatever reason, I don't have all the answers. Whatever it is, my best thinking isn't good enough. There's still more out there that is required of me. And I alone am not enough. They don't have that. They're not really all that full of themselves. Then there's some are. And I struggle with a lot of the same stuff as anybody else, where I try to balance that humility with the strength. Right. And it's that confidence, I think, that comes in having gone through adversity, whether it's self-inflicted or having been inflicted upon you. But a lot of us had come to a point where we were just completely broken, almost that, the rock bottom sort of way that AA would discuss it. And we had to build ourselves back up from there. And we have the gratitude and we have the humility, and we're able to say, I was wrong. Mm-hmm. And that it's one of those neural pathways that most people don't get a chance to really exercise. They don't burn those ruts into the road like they should.
Right.
So it's confusing and it doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable because you're not supposed to admit when you're wrong. The people that told me this information, they would never admit that they were wrong.
Right.
So the information must be true. So I could never admit that I'm wrong when I regurgitate this information.
Right.
So
maybe the experience that we went through was so powerful and so changing to us that it created a pathway that when you said that neural pathway, it kind of dinged, that it made a straight line to that center point of you. It doesn't have to detour through all your programming and all the shit you were raised with and all the school bullshit and all the, but the teacher and the preacher and everybody said this. You have cleared all that out and you are just open, straight line again. So yeah, that.
Right.
And then on the simplest level, even taking the law of attraction, when you're uptight, paranoid, bitter right now, scared of getting sick, living this fear life, you're in a state of fearfulness and you want to jump on things. I mean, you're edgy, and so you want things to jump on, and you present this with people that are edgy, uptight, and that somebody that's in a good mood is generally open to hearing new things and not looking for the argument or something to be. Again, you squeeze a lemon, you're going to get lemon juice because it's sour or whatever. It's what you're squeezing. You're squeezing a sour fruit. You want something sweeter, to a mandarin orange or something. You're going to, again, if you're pushing on it, push somebody that's bitter, you're going to get bitter back at you. So that's even the most basic, that a person with gratitude, instead of just saying fuck off, might out of politeness say, well, that's interesting. And then they might let their mind open and ponder it and think, well, wait, that's not so crazy after all. I mean, it just the state of mind of not having to have everybody wrong about you. And also, again, I'm going to say it again. I think the society teaches you that somehow if you call somebody stupid, it makes you smart. And if you listen to people, tell me, when have you ever really respected somebody because their opinion of somebody was that they were stupid? To me, real people with real ideas take down the ideas and not the individuals involved. I mean, take down the full ideas on it. But it just, again, it gets petty and it gets crazy, and it's not a natural place to be.
I think most people aren't grateful because they think nothing exploded into everything and they're an accidental space monkey. So at the end of the day, no, you're right. At the end of the day, thinking that you don't matter, your life doesn't matter, and
enjoying it.
It'd be just
like
the same if you were never
in that
here.
idea.
Yeah.
That's what breaks my brain. After Rose had that debate with the math lady, I can't remember her name, Clarissa maybe.
Clarissa.
Yes. They
Yes.
had some links to some after shows. Well, I got tied up with family things about midway through the whole thing. So when I came back, the after show was going on. And it was some people that were in the chat being quite lovely, as they tend to be. And they were just sitting around and just reveling in that idea. They said it at least 6 different times about how insignificant we are. Now we're just dots of dust in space. And it's like, how, even when I thought space was real, I still never thought that way. I never thought it was an empty void, even when I thought it was a real void. So I just don't get it.
I really think. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a thought on that, and just follow me. So we talk about intuition, right? Gratitude, your intuition. Follow your intuition, follow your gut, whatever these words are. Doesn't matter what people believe about the shape of the earth. Everybody at some point has felt or experienced that. I need to follow my gut instinct, follow my intuition, right? For the most part, I don't think anyone would try to debate that, or there might be some. But at the end of the day, what is intuition? What is your gut? It's something that's that's not necessarily in this physical realm. It's spiritual. It's something outside of that we're experiencing. Can we all agree to some capacity on that? What I think is, just like any person who's in a fear state, you're constantly in the amygdala in the brain. And what happens is when you get a lot of people today that are in this trauma that they've experienced as children or at a younger age, this is something that scientists, psychologists do all the time. You get a bunch of kids ultimately kids in adult bodies. Following? Now follow somebody a child who just upset their father, source, God. And you have to look your father in the eye or realize that your father saw that. All the things that you did that you know in your heart, you probably shouldn't have done. And now you have to go, hey, you're not just an accident. You're not just on this spinning ball. You have purpose. There's spirit, there's God watching over you, and he cares about you, even though you messed up. And he's willing to forgive you. And it's not about that. It's about having them to go, Dad, I messed up. And that right there, as we said about admitting when you're wrong, is the hardest thing for people, because that's where it ultimately leads to.
I've thought about this before, how like one of the things about life is like, if I say you go out in the middle of nowhere and say you do something heinous, terrible, it's not like a crashing voice comes out of the sky or a lightning bolt strikes you down. Like you're left to like ruminate on that yourself and figure out if you did wrong or not. And like that, like it would be so much easier if that's what happened, right? Like if you did something wrong and something instantly happened, everybody would know not to do that. But people will have to face like themselves or like that piece of God within themselves and realize that like I've been wrong a lot, and or even just say maybe I've been wrong a lot, that's too much for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, go back to understanding, right? Even in the Bible, right? We know that the temple of God is within. It's right between these two temples. A lot of us, we are aware of that. So what happens in today's society? People don't like to be with their thoughts by themselves. They need to take antidepressants. They're on many pharmaceuticals. They need social media. They need pornography. They need social interactions all the time. And why is that? Because when you're with your thoughts, you're in the temple of God. And yes, it could be very much misconstrued. It can, you can have your demons, you can have all these things trying to step in and speak louder than that voice, that intuition. And when you find yourself in positions where you hear that intuition, that gut, as we said, that I believe that's why it's so scary for people, is because it's going, whoa, I am right now in a place in my head that is speaking so loud and so clear, and I'm afraid to approach it or look at it, however you want to, dress it up, and to be able to go, as you were saying, Josh, like, I am wrong. I've been wrong, but it's okay. I can change, and I can go on a path with purpose. And I think that's what, in my opinion, is what is experiencing for a lot of people. So when they're seeing more and more people allowing themselves to be open to the flat earth, or however people want to peg it, it's going, what is this, just like a cult? Is this just like another new religion? It's like, no, it's understanding that I have purpose and I have to take ownership of my life. And this is how I do it, is being able to realize that I'm not an accident. I'm not on a spinning ball. I'm not insignificant, and neither are you. And that's what for me, that's what the whole journey has been. And I know it sounds like all of you have very much been in that same boat or are in it as we speak.
Very much.
So, and probably people have, treated others badly or made them felt insignificant, and they don't want to realize that how
Wait,
like,
can you repeat it? You froze up a little bit.
You broke up a little bit. Yeah, go ahead, TJ. Say it again.
That, most people have probably treated someone badly at some point or made them feel insignificant. And like, you don't want to come to terms to that with that in yourself, that you convince someone else. Like if you realize that you're not an accident and you're significant, you have to acknowledge everybody else is exactly as significant as you. And if you rip that away from somebody, like,
right.
I can remember that feeling, that pit of my stomach falling away, and it felt like I was just exposed. Like, oh shit. Really? Oh, wow. You know, like, oh, wow. Okay. I forgot, you know, but I do remember now. So, yeah, just like, oh, shit. And then, I mean, like you said, that noise, that hum, they just want to keep that going. And if there's anything that just knocks all that out of your head, it's one of these huge epiphanies that just makes you stop. And then suddenly all that shit is gone and it's just you and the creator. And they don't want to face that. They definitely don't want to see that.
It feels more like remembering than, you know, learning, or, you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. And that's what's so, for me, is so fascinating, is like when you get the hair standing up on your arm, or you having those conversations, and I don't know what you guys do, but just for myself, you know, I do a prayer to myself in the morning when I go outside. I walk the dog, I let the sun hit me, and I just breathe. I listen to my surroundings, because I know right now, this is, like always, the present moment is all I have. So I really just try to embrace it. And every morning I'm just always going, you know, I'm grateful for this day you've given me. I'm grateful for the trials and tribulations you've put in my past. We are going to put in front of me, and whatever comes in the future. I just try to have this conversation every single time I get hair standing up on my arms. I don't feel like I'm going to cry. I don't feel like I'm going to, all these emotions running through me. It's just a conversation. And every single time I feel the hands start to stand up. And for me, it was always like, oh, I got goosebumps. And it's like, no, what is that? What is happening, right? We know hair, antennas,
yes.
sending pulses. You're receiving electricity, or you're giving electricity. You don't just have things stand up for no reason. Just like when you're afraid and the hair stand up, right? Well, what's happening? Either you're taking on that energetic fear, or you're pushing out that energy, that current. And that's what I think is so interesting is when we talk about, it's not like you're learning it. It's just remembering or coming to awareness of going, that's what that is. And this is my experience. This is God. This is creator, however you want to look at it. And
it's really like simple when it clicks too. It's just like, oh yeah, it's not even like a long drawn out thing. You're just like, oh, of course this is how, you know, of course this is what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Our buddy Caleb's, I call him Special K, but he likes to refer to that feeling as truth bumps, which I love that idea. I love
That's really
that.
funny.
Yeah, that's great.
I think there's a direct connection somewhere to that pineal gland. I'm almost convinced of it. It's like when you take some razors and you're getting the back of your head shaved and you get that nice little vibration, you can feel it go all the way down your spine. And it's like there's a connection there. Again, you hear good music, when that good music affects your very soul and it gives you goosebumps. It's that little, I've heard it called like an EMP pulse that your pineal gland can just sort of pulse out. And that's just, it extends all the way out right through the hairs on your arm. It's super, super exciting stuff.
Yeah. But this all goes for me about human potential. And, you know, when we talk about, in my field, in my career, right, it's helping people find their own potentials every single day. You know, when I'm training with clients and, you know, they're saying like, oh, I got 5, I can only do 1 more. And then they end up doing 5 more. It's like, you've kept yourself by your words you put out into you know, the ether, that you aren't good enough for those other 4, right? Like, you've already told yourself this, so you won't do it. And then what happens is, as we go through this, we talk about how we're so advanced and all these potentials. And I'm like, well, look at human potential now, right? It's like, we can say, yes, there's definitely feats of things that are so great. And if you're in a closed mind, this is all you see. But then I always use this to tell people make sense, is going, well, let's look back in time. Let's look at architecture, the human potential to create the architectures that were once that we can't do now. And I've had my podcast, an architect, engineer, builder, who very much himself saying, we can't do this. We haven't been able to do a lot of these. This is what we can do. Now, he's very open-minded. He's privy to what we're talking about. So
interesting. I would like to hear that, man. That's one I haven't caught on your channel yet.
Yeah, no worries, man. So yeah, it's with Christopher Gardner. It was one right before Martin, but he just talks about how we can't do these things. And it's like, okay, well, why? And we can say, oh, it was aliens. Well, do you have proof of that? No, we don't. It's like, what do we know though? We know that these structures, these door frames, these archways, all these things they can't recreate. So there was a human potential then that we don't have now. You know what I mean? And that's where I start to go, well, what did they have then that we don't have now? And people are like, well, aliens came. It's like, we don't have proof of that. We can't prove that. There's no, you know what I mean? They could, make another, Steven Spielberg movie and, be like, well, look right there. I'm like, that's Steven Spielberg. Like I don't know how. No, you know what I mean? So anyway, that was my rant. I know it's running late, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep it any longer.
Oh, you're doing good. I was actually over on your channel trying to pull up that video and share it with everybody. What was the name again, man? I'm digging through.
For the podcast, you mean?
The one with the gentleman
it's
you're talking about.
Pat. It's the Pat Life Podcast with Christopher Gardner. It should be the one right before Marty leads.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no worries, man.
I totally admire that you identify your mind as sort of that holy temple, that God's temple. Because that's not, I've heard it said that way before, but when you put it in the context of being alone with your thoughts, in that there you are alone with God, and that's of course that small still voice that we all hear. I remember once upon a time that's not a place I wanted to go, right? There's a time that there's a lot of people shouldn't, I'll even go so far as to say should not enter that space alone. Okay. They need to have that tour guide. They need to have somebody there to hold their hand as they walk through that haunted house, because they're going to find a lot of stuff. They're going to find stuff they don't like. That's going to be the nature of it. That's going to be part of the growth and part of the process is you've got to deal with your shit. You're now responsible and you got to fucking deal with it. And once you can sort of clean that house and realize you can sweep all that shit out, that shit all cleans up. Takes a lot of work, a little bit of elbow grease, but pretty soon you can start to identify that as the temple of God, as what it is. You can now decorate it the way you want it to be.
Right.
I really dig that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Something Cammie said before about cycles reminded me of this. And then also that you just had Marty Leeds on. I just listened to the recent Crow episode with Marty Leeds. And but like what you're saying there, they're talking about like the people that can control everything or whatever you want to say. But like so much of our systems are making us believe that like everything is linear, where everything is cyclical. And that's why they can manipulate what happens. And that's like exactly what you're saying, that people they think they're just like doing random stuff and they don't know that they're under influences of being at a certain point in a cycle where if they knew that, they could act accordingly.
Right. Totally. Well, think about one of the most cyclical thing that every single person who has any family lineage, which is everybody, has to deal with. Oh, my dad had it. My uncle had it. I'm probably going to have it. Whatever that may be. Alcoholism, eating habits, any sort of dis-ease, all these things. Or, my parent, my mom and dad, they both had 8 marriages. Like, I'm just making things up, right? It's like, that's what, right? It's a learned condition. And for people to then take ownership and going, that doesn't define me. I don't have to repeat this cyclical pattern that my own nuclear family or my close family all has. But talking about taking ownership, all these different things, is people go, well, it's just easier. It's easier. Or I believe because of the way I've been taught that it's going to happen regardless. So what do? You're preparing your mind, body, spirit, your psychology for disease, basically, right? Like people go, they had cancer when they were 50. My dad had it when he was 47. I'm probably going to have it. Well, what happens, right? You start to put into the ether, into your body, this state of disease, right? You start to manifest these things very much so. And so at a young age, I realized certain things that I saw in my family. I'm like, I'm not going to, I will not repeat those cycles. And I meant it. But this was going back to gratitude. I even remember back then, because I like to think a lot, was going, was I angry? Was I angry about those things that I was seeing? But now looking back and just going, hey, I was actually grateful because it allowed me to realize that I see what I don't want. And I'm grateful for that. And that's what allowed me to actually stay true to a lot of these things. Now, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes, which I'm constantly trying to work on. And having now more understanding of where we are, at least, a little bit more, in what the purposes are, you start to realize, like, I still have a ton of work to do, just like everybody else. And it's not easy, but it is rejuvenating when you can go, I don't have to repeat those patterns that I see that, really in my heart don't feel right, or I don't have to be, my existence isn't my disease. It isn't my, anger. It's not my inability to connect with people. That doesn't define me. It's just a piece of me that can change. And this goes to the human potential. So anyway.
Absolutely, man. This group of people, not just here on the panel, but the group of people that we've come to know over this last 6 years of this experience we're all sharing together, has definitely been not just building a family, but it's almost like that mirror thing, that holding up a reflection. We mentioned, I don't know how long ago the show was, but we were talking about our children and role models for our children, and who, my father definitely might not be that role model I would want my son to look to. So who would I point to? These people, this panel, these people I've met who have overcome everything they were taught, that mind control that we're all, just inundated with. They've persevered through incredible hardships, through incredible achievements. I mean, and seeing all this and seeing where we come, seeing what we can do together, getting through some really rough spots together. Here on this very show, we had a huge blow up on the show and worked our way through it. And it was an amazing experience. So doing all of that together has been, it's that old cliche. It's not the fucking destination, it's the journey. And sharing it with you people has just been a phenomenal thing. And definitely having, what role models do we get presented with? Fucking sports stars or, drug-addled rock stars. So yeah, dude, y'all, I love you guys. That's all I can really say.
That was beautiful. I can't even talk. I'm speechless. That was so nice.
That was really nice. It really has been a journey. We've been at this for a hot minute. I mean, you think back to the Google Hangout days when all you could do was meet up with a few strangers that you just met on the internet and throw a link out there into the general public and to see who wants to hop on. And you never know who's going to hop on. To actually having something just shy of that to what we're doing now, right? We're not much better, but we're slightly better. But to have built all these relationships and to have shared in the struggles and shared in the triumphs, it really is not something I'd take lightly. So when I throw that term family out there, it's like I throw it out there a lot, but it's true because we all share that common bond. Not just that we all carry around this idea that maybe the earth isn't the ball that we were told, but because we also share the same characteristics that got us to that point. And it really allows it to be able to have that camaraderie and identify. Like with TJ, I, again, don't know TJ from anybody other than we've been Facebook friends for a long ass fucking time because of some random bullshit. We're just trying to not get lost and want to share with like-minded individuals and just share the love and just share the experience of being human and just get it out there. And after all this time, here he is. And I don't know what it was, but there was just this weird connection that I have absolutely no way to explain it. Very similar to the one I shared with that one stranger, Jafroger. No way could I actually articulate the weird connection that I felt when I heard him on with Mark Sargent, but I still felt it and really enjoyed listening to him. And then to actually have him on our show and just to hang out and again build that relationship. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably run off with some woman down in Florida, if I were to guess. If I were to guess, he's holed up with at least
He
one.
has been MIA a minute.
At
for
least
sure.
one
So,
woman, I guess, would be involved.
Sure, we'll get an update in the near future. Or you never know.
But that's what I love about this community is just those connections. Like for no good reason do I love TJ, but there he is. Because I love this dude. I love the fact that he just puts his absolute heart and soul into his music. I see it. I love it. I feel it and I dig it. And there's just something about him. I don't know what it is. So I appreciate him coming on. And Pat, you too. It's really, again, to feel and be able to sense that connection, those shared qualities, as Walt was saying, be able to see that mirror held up. But yep, that's that higher person that I need to hold myself accountable and try to be. Like any good relationship, whether it's my wife or my son or my dogs or these fine folks that I try to surround myself with every chance I get. They make me want to be a better person. They make me want to try to aspire. I have to try to be it, but it makes it a lot easier. It's less work because it just comes through so naturally. I channel them and it makes being that better person a lot easier, which is why I love so much being here with you guys, because it really does make trying to be that better person and doing the next right thing that much easier. So thank you to you all.
You know, that I feel very much the same way, that there's stuff since I've come to certain understandings and made relationships with certain people that I'm sure, you know, like I post and say a lot of sort of crude, crass things. And, you know, to some point I've reached a point where like, I don't need, like, sometimes it's to make a point. So there's a reason to do that. But sometimes I'm like, is this the person you know what I mean? I try to think like, what audience am I reaching or attracting that way? And I, you know, that's like you said, it makes you want to be better.
Yeah, I really struggled with that too, and how I interact online. And it's because, again, I spent so many years as a pathological liar and manipulator and someone who could, you know, just kind of be whoever he needed to be in that particular moment, trying to be someone who's authentic. So how do I balance authenticity with trying to be the best person I can? Because sometimes that's not very authentic. That's not who I want to be. That's not what I'm feeling at the time. So sometimes it's hard because I do vent, but luckily I'm not venting online because that's where I can get myself into trouble. But luckily, just like in life, if you surround yourself with the right people, then they will help lift you up to that place that you're trying to get, whether they know it or not.
Absolutely. I've changed, like now I'm like, I could post some snarky, smart ass comment, or I could like just share something I made or share something that somebody else made, you know, and it's like overall, that's probably a better investment of the energy and time.
I'm sure it is. And I try not to be creepy, but I'm like, so many things like, oh, I'd like that. I'm like, shit, I'm already being kind of creepy as it is. Like, I'll just back off. I'll be like, I'll just scroll past. Like, oh, there's another one. Oh, no, I'm kind of creepy as it is. I'll just let it go. But, no, that one I can't. I got to like that one.
Well, what's interesting is, are you guys talking about posting stuff on like social media and being true and stuff?
Uh-huh.
So what was obviously, you know, when you're coming into this world of, you know, whether it be talking about flat earth or, you know, not believing the stuff that they're trying to push right now, nonsense wise, there's like a timidness, right, of entering into that open public space of where you stand on certain things. And, you know, what you start to realize, or at least I did, was, and maybe you guys were there too, is that one, you realize, you know, I don't really care what other people think other than the ones that are close to me, and at least wanting to hear their views and their opinions. But what you start to also realize is that when you know your heart and you know your intentions, like, yeah, you can throw some snarky remarks or you can put some stuff out there, you know, but you know your intentions aren't to like try to ruin someone's life or try to put them down, unless they're, you know, if people are coming at you, doesn't mean you have to be, you know, a pushover, like be like, yeah, you know, go fuck yourself. Like, don't, you have no right to come on my platform or wherever I am and speak to me that way, you know, being honest and being stern, but at the same time, not being like, I'm going to ruin your life because you didn't like my comment, you dick. You know what I mean? Like, there's a balance. But you start to realize this, or at least when I was just opening myself up and being like, this is where I stand. This is how I feel. I knew my heart and I know my intentions. You know, you get the waves of people coming at you. Oh, you're going to kill people with your thoughts and this and that. And I pretty much, I have a thick skin with those things. It doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with people telling me those. But you start to realize over time, as the wood starts to burn, you start to have these types of interactions with different people of like, hey, this is this person, this is that person. And now they want to talk. They want to get to know you. They want to really hear what you have to say. And they know you're coming from a good, genuine place. And it's like, all right, I found those people that can actually hear what I'm saying and not just immediately attack me, or, you know what I mean? And that's not that it hurts, but you're like, it's nice to know that at least some people can be like, yeah, I can agree with that. Or yeah, I can hear your point without losing my mind, you know? So that's part of the journey and the beauty of having social media and these opinions and these communities building, because it just takes time. And just being able to go, I know my heart, I know my intentions, and I'm okay with sharing where I stand on things, my beliefs. So that's a beautiful dog.
And it also helps stepping into that place of attempting to bring this to somebody else. Because when you come at it with that assured, I know it all, you know, you're not going to get through. And that idea of that humility and that humble approach, you know, again, living the example that you want them to be. And I'm sorry, I got sidetracked because I see Minion on the camera. What's up, Minion?
So, well, I got a cone of shame. I've been itching and stuff, so I have a Kona. Mom's getting me something called Derma Bliss. It's going to be here Sunday. Maybe it'll stop the itching on him. He bites on his tail.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to run.
Pat, it was amazing again, dude. You are family. Not just family, your family, brother. Please come back, walk right in. You know the door. You got the knock. You know the secret coach. But seriously, it was a blast, friend.
Flat Earth.
That's it.
It's a knock. It's just flat. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you all very much, and thank you so much for having me once again. TJ, always a pleasure that we're coming on at the same time, man. So,
great to.
All right, guys.
It'd be cool to talk to you another time.
Yeah, dude.
Right, y'all meet up away from here. I mean, we're glad to go together.
Well, are you the same thing on social media? Because I have you on YouTube, so I can always just reach out to you there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'll hit you.
If you can find those characters, you can find TJ.
Wait, where is it?
No, the way he types it is just sometimes hard to track him down.
I was going to say that's the Morse code to get into this place.
That's the secret code for damn sure.
I'm making up my own codes as I go.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
All right, Pat. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy what little time you can with the sun sleeping. So
I'll see you guys. Bye.
All right, brother.
Go enjoy his mom.
Oh, shit. I forgot to tell him. Hey, when you see this, Pat, or whatever, I went back to grab some photos from that link, and apparently that site's been taken over. So, yeah. Be careful. Go through your old bookmarks. And I mean, I've got just like all the rest of us, bookmark. So I usually just type a few keywords in and things pop up. There it is. And that's what I did. Went with it and assumed it was great. And Went back to go grab another picture and went to looking at that one. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started really reading, and I'm like, yeah, they have definitely gotten in there and cleverly. Still seems to be a flat Earth site until you start reading. So be careful. Check your bookmarks.
Those silly bastards.
I was gonna say, just to add to what Pat was saying, I've met a handful of like online friends now at this point, and some I've heard more than once, besides the old soul thing, like I was saying before, but that people have said to me that I come across the same online as I am in real life. Like, many people try to portray themselves as something they're not. And like, I know they're real people. Cause like I said, I might rant or do this, but like some people know what I'm saying. They know that this whole kind of circus of the thing I'm saying is just to convey a point. But, yeah, I think part of it is just like, the thing Terrence McKenna said, that like you have to hurl yourself into the void to realize that the void is a pillow that catches you. You have to put yourself out there, and just it'll find you, or you'll find them or those people. Find the others.
Find the others. All right. Well, I think we got to wrap it up. That's going to bring it just over 3, I think.
Before we get out of here, really quickly, early happy corporation formation day to our good friend Dawn there in chat. No, I'm kidding. Happy birthday, Dawn.
Oh, happy birthday, Dawn.
Happy birthday. And happy birthday, Karen B, in 2 more days.
Oh, no doubt. Well, happy corporation formation to you too, Karen.
Heck yeah, and to you, Karen. Earlier
All
late,
right.
I hope it's great.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you guys so much. Again, thank you, Pat, for being here. TJ, dude, we're going to figure out that jam. Maybe not the Eagles. I'm leaning more to the Tenacious D. I think we could do some good harmonies. I got the Jack Black cover. You got Kyle, dude. We'll filling up the holes.
And I think I will get out here with a little bit of change, just because we got to, and we can do it.
Right? Hells yeah.
So, guys, thanks for hanging out with us this evening. This has been yet another Have No Sphere, the last Have No Sphere. God, I hope on this backup channel. We should
this
be.
Is true, man. Thank you guys for putting it hard here with us, putting the hours in on this backup channel, man. You guys grew it.
Growed
it grow.
I think
something.
growed it, I think is.
You growed it?
Yes.
You growed it up. You done growed that damn channel up, boys. Anyway, thank y'all. And get over to the other channel. Share them all. Hell. Share TJ's channel. Share Pat's channel. I think I've linked them in the chat. If I didn't, well, shame on me. I'll do it again.
Shame on me for not having done it in the show description.
No. Yeah, Josh, just so you know, we've had it before where the strikes have worn out and it hasn't reset.
Oh, cool.
And you have to contact them and wait for them, but sometimes it just doesn't automatically happen.
Well, tell you what, then, tonight at midnight, we'll send them an email.
We sure will.
Seriously, fuck that. Dude.
Seriously, because again, they don't automatically.
Fingers crossed, we'll be there next week.
At least on Globebusters, Globebusters, nothing is easy. So, but that's why we have Rockfin. Subscribe to us on Rockfin, Globebusters Sundays.
I'm a subscriber to Globebusters.
Nice.
On Rockfin.
I am too.
Rockfin seems pretty cool.
I got to do this. If you guys haven't gone over there to the hashtag MakeMoreMST3K, get over there and help the guys get more riffs out there. I love Mr. Science Theater. I had to. This is it. It's the final night. Become part of history.
This is last. I think they're looking to break 6.3. I think is their final goal, which will be the top of the overall goal the first time.
The full bore. Yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm excited. Anyway.
All right.
And Josh.
Zach says, or not Zach.
Love you, Zach.
Says, time to go outside. Yeah.
Love you, Hank.
Oh, Hank.
Hank's right here. He's like, is it potty land time? I know. I know.
Right,
You want
yes,
to
yes. He's like, yes, I heard the
Did
sister
you go to
bird.
potty? Yeah.
No, I didn't
outside.
ask.
I
I'm
know.
not asking. I'm not asking. I'm
Olivia-
saying it's potty time.
Is it potty time? Are you sure? Yeah.
It's
Long show.
potty time.
Just wants to party all the time.
That's what he wants to do. I'm gonna.
Party all the time. Anyway.
All right. I'm going to leave the meeting, not be cruel, and potty the dog. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Love you. We'll see you next week.
Love y'all.
Don't feel the sun's coming out today. Stay in. Just gonna find another way. As I sit here in this misery, I don't think I'll ever know. Lord, see the sun for me. Oh, as I fade away. They'll all look at me and say, hey, look at him. I'll never live that way. And that's okay. I'm just afraid to change. When you feel life ain't worth living, you got to stand up and take a look around. Gotta look up way into the sky. When your deepest thoughts are broken, keep on dreaming, boy, 'cause when you stop dreaming, it's time to die. And as we all play parts of tomorrow, no, some ways will work and other ways will play. But I know we can't all stay here forever. So I'm gonna ride my words on the face of today, and then paint it Oh, as I fade away, they'll all look at me and say, hey, look at him, and where he is these days, and that's okay. Just afraid to change. Life is hard, you have to change. Life is hard, you have to.